Hello. Oh, long time no see, eh? Been a little bit of a time. Couple weeks now. Oh, where's he been? He's been away. Um. Oh, so much has changed since I've been gone. I don't know if I like it. I'll be honest. I'm not a massive fan of what's going on, but hey ho, we got to stay positive in these times. Um. Well, to be fair, I usually try to look at. I always try to see the positives in Windwalker, because we're always well, we're usually D tier, right? C or D tier. B tier is not bad. I mean, this is just a meme, right? Don't worry about this tier list. This is just like one of those tier lists that one of those YouTubers makes, every other week, ranking the specs. I just thought it was funny. Windwalker B. Probably not wrong though. Probably not wrong though. Oh God, help! What's the positive of Windwalker right now? I'm coping. Um, I don't think we're awful in raid. But there's a big difference between awful and good, right? I don't think we're good either. Um, so there was the mythic testing was last week, Thursday, Friday. I did do that. I didn't stream it or anything because I'd only just got back from holiday, but I was able to get on and actually test all the bosses out. But this was after we were hit with the quotation mark nerfs, I suppose. I don't even know if they're the nerfs. They're more there were things that were expected. But for Conduit anyway, for Shadowpan, they are nerfs and they're not even implemented yet. And when they do get implemented, that's when I'm gonna worry because Shadowpan right now, I think is to be honest, I think Shadowpan's already weaker of the two, just from testing and stuff. Like on some bosses, it actually plays better. But the way that they're going to change it based on what the new tier sets now say, because basically they changed what the tier sets say, which means that they're suggesting that they're going to be changed for Shadowpan even. However, they're not implemented, which made testing really awkward, right? Because how can I get an opinion on how Shadowpan's going to play if you haven't implemented it? It's like they're they're blue balling me. They're they have it all there, and they're pretty awful. So yeah, I mean, I'll go through Conduit first for anyone that's unaware of what they've changed. So initially with the 4 set, do I have? Hold on, I might have an image here. That was the unnerfed Shadowpan. Yeah, that was the unnerfed Shadowpan. The changes are not out yet. Oh, where's my image for this? Oh yeah, I'll go onto this screen. It should be here. Where it's hiding. That's Shadowpan. We don't want Shadowpan. We want Conduit. That's what I'm talking about, real quick. Oh, why don't I sort out my filing systems? Where is this? That's not where I saved that. Ah, there we go, saved. So, when it comes to Conduit, basically, Slicing Winds initially... Basically, yeah, Conduit, when you press Slicing Winds now because you heart the Jade Serpent, right? That's absolutely fine. That's fine how it was. But initially when PTR came out, this overlapped with other cooldowns. So this overlapped with your Strike of the Windlord heart window. It overlapped with your Conduit heart window. So you basically got really fast burst windows and Fist of Fury and massive cooldown reduction. This was an expected nerf, right? So this one I'm not too bothered about too much because this was kind of overpowered in a way where you were basically getting 0.1 second Fist of Furies. Your burst window was actually quite difficult to do. Your 1 minute 30s were relatively difficult. I think a lot of people would have actually struggled doing them just because there's so much you have to micromanage within a 20-second period that I think I actually don't mind this nerf in a way. It sounds weird, right? Less damage. That's kind of cringe, but in a way I think it'll be easier to play. Because we're basically running into the situation where you do your opener, but you'd have such fast cooldown reduction. I feel like it was almost it was too much in a way that it would you'd get the cooldown reduction, you'd have 10 abilities pop up. What do I press first? And it was really hard to micromanage. It's a lot slower now. So basically they made it so these don't overlap, is what I'm trying to say. So now Slicing Winds, the cooldown reduction doesn't overlap anymore. So it's its own thing. They all share basically the same cooldown reduction cycle. So let's say you use Strike of the Windlord now, and then you use Slicing Winds. They don't stack anymore. They're two separate. So basically the Slicing Winds one will overlap the Strike of the Windlord one. So you kind of don't want to overlap these anymore outside of your opener. In your opener, you still overlap these in a way because you're still trying to get the damage of it out. But outside, you didn't overlap them anyway. So it's honestly, I don't think this is too bad. I think this was expected. A lot of Windwalkers were thinking that this was going to happen, so I'm not too worried with Conduit. Plus, I think it makes the opener a lot cleaner in a way. Like a lot more manageable for a lot of players will find this a lot more manageable and not be like absolutely overwhelming. And basically, because I could see like if it was the super fast pace and you had to like basically do all of this perfectly, you're just not going to be able to do it. It's really difficult in the way it was. Obviously, it's a lot of damage, right? Because the burst window is less. You have less cooldowns, right? The only thing I don't like with Conduit at the moment is the period before you go into your 1 minute 30 windows. So basically, more or less, if you're playing out the combat, your cooldowns will be at about 14, 15 seconds before they come up, but then Strike of the Windlord comes up, and you have to make the decision of, am I going to hold Strike of the Windlord and Slicing Winds for 15 seconds, and then get my cooldowns off at 1 minute 30, or am I going to send my cooldowns now and delay my 1 minute 30s? And I'm pretty sure it's a delay your 1 minute 30s. It feels too bad. Like in season 2, Windwalker, you'd hold, right? Like that's absolutely fine. That was standard. You'd hold your cooldowns, but you're only delaying it by like 10 seconds maximum. Basically, it's not even 10 seconds. It's more like 7 or 8 seconds. So basically, your 1 minute 30s get delayed every cycle. But I think that's okay to keep up the heart window. Otherwise, you just have this dead zone where you basically just sat there like, oh god, what am I doing here? So I don't mind it too much, but at the same time, it is a little bit awkward to delay your 1 minute 30s. It's never nice to delay major cooldowns, right? But I think at the loss of like both of these abilities and their heart windows, you just can't do that. I really would. I'd be extremely surprised if the Sims say to do that. We had our spotlight, now we can get benched for another 2 years. What are you talking about, chicken? Have you not seen? 8% Mystic Touch? Woohoo! Yeah! Wait, Mistweavers and Brewmasters also get that? Ah, shit, I'm logging out. Fuck this shit. Oh, like, I was on holiday, and I just, like, because I hadn't tuned into Discord for a while, because I was just, like, you know, enjoying my time off. And I tuned in one day, and all of a sudden it was Conduit nerf, Shadowpan nerf, but hey, we got Mystic Touch at 8% now. I was like, no. Why are they doing this? Slicing Winds is absolutely awful. Hate that we get the delay of 15 seconds roughly each time. The amount of input as a monk you put in and the DPS you do isn't amazing compared to other classes at the moment. Yeah, definitely true. I feel like we are constantly spamming. Like, at no point you ever not pressing an ability. Like, usually Windwalker had a lot of downtime in the past, but I feel like there's absolutely no downtime at the moment. It's like Outlaw Rogue, right, in a way where you're constantly hitting buttons and then you're expecting yourself to be top of the meters, and then you look over and you're not top of the meters, and you're like, but I'm pressing like 500 buttons per minute. How am I not top of the meters? And like then that feels awful because if that feels awful in a way because it's like, well, I'm constantly spamming. You know, I'm doing my rotation correctly. Why am I not top? I bring in some logs as well because I did the PTR right, didn't I? I think we'll have a look at Fractilis, because I think Fractilis is a good example of this. The mythic variant. Where do I keep my logs? I keep them hidden. Keep them hidden, keep them safe. Alright. Nobody freak out, alright? These are... Nobody freak out the positioning of Windwalker here, please. So, look. This was our Fractilis kill. Can we see this? Hold on, can we see this? It's not like... It's not awful, but it's not great, right? Like, I think the only... It sounds weird, but the only shining light I had from the entirety of the PTR testing for the raid was that I was always one of the top melee specs. Which is never a position you want to be in, right? You want to be, like, top, you want to be the best. But at the moment, it feels like a lot of melee specs are really struggling. So this is like Fractilis, right? And I played Conduit on this. Conduit's going to be better for single target. It's not even debatable. Especially if Shadowpan gets nerfed. Like, there's just no way that Shadowpan competes with Conduit for this. But you can see like the damage disparity, right? Like single target, right? Shadow Priests, Hunters were absolutely nuking things. Dev Evoker, lol. And like I'm just comparing it to season 2, right? Where I would probably be up here. I feel like I've lost so much damage, and it just feels horrendous. I actually don't mind the new playstyle. I like, so basically there were two builds I was trying out. I was trying out this Bockless Cock build, and I was trying out this other Conduit the Celestial build, which isn't quite Bockless. I actually prefer the Bockless version, especially with filler. Now, at the moment, it's not suggested to go this build because apparently we want to drop these two talents, but actually I found that through actually playing it, these felt a lot better. Doesn't mean they're going to be the best ones, but this definitely felt better on like bosses. Because the issue with the issue with this build, where you don't run these two, is that I found that like a lot of the time there was some massive downtime, especially during like part of the Jade Serpent windows, right? Like it just felt awful at times. It felt like because Dance of the Chiji is like a really good filler, right? So your Tiger Palm, you could Dance of the Chiji, Tiger Palm again. It's a really good ability to like in between Tiger Palms. I found with this build that I never had like a spinning crane kick ready to go. So the Bockless Cock with more filler that I'm calling it feels worse in the opener because you might overstack spinning crane kick, so you might have to put a little bit like less like oomph into Fist of Fury. But outside your 1 minute 30s, this felt way better. I also simmed it and this came out better, but I don't really take PTR sims. I'll take them with a grain of salt, right? Is Shadowpan good for M+? I don't know. I love to play Shadowpan. So M+ is where I have had the least practice at the moment. I've done I did a couple of dungeons. I've only really done raiding right now. The idea is that I do some PTR M+ today, which would be cool. But the issue with Shadowpan, we can move on to Shadowpan real quickly. I need to actually pick the right talent. Shadowpan Mythic Plus, 1 minute 30 cooldowns, Keck. New build just dropped, boys! And it's fucking horrendous. The issue with Shadowpan is that I don't think it's too bad in how it plays right now, where you have, like, when you Storm Earth and Fire, you expend Flurry Strikes every 120 energy, and that feels good. Like, it plays well, it's easy to set up, especially in Raid. In M+, it's not too hard to set up either. However, it looks like they're nerfing this, but they just won't implement it. And the issue is, so not only have they they've nerfed every single part of it, by the way. They nerfed the Flurry Strikes, how much they deal damage by. They nerfed the effectiveness of Flurry Strikes, the triggering effect. That's not too bad. I wouldn't worry too well. It's kind of bad. They nerfed the charge generation as well. Kind of cringe. No need to do that. Like, if we're going to be spamming Flurry Strikes, let's let me charge it to 10 every time. But sure, 50%, whatever. The big one is the 150 energy spent during Storm, Earth, and Fire, and this is really awkward. And it's really hard to like visually show you because it's not implemented. But think of it this way, right? If it's every 120 energy, which it was when it came out, and it still technically is, every 2 Tiger Palms during Storm, Earth, and Fire, you expend Flurry Strikes. That makes sense, right? 2 Tiger Palms equals 1 Flurry Strikes. That's good. So you can Tiger Palm, do another ability Tiger Palm, and that allows you to keep up against all odds as well. However, with 150 energy spent, that's essentially 3 Tiger Palms. Well, it's essentially, what is it? It's essentially 5 Tiger Palms every 10 seconds? Is that how it works out? Math? 6, 12, 18, 24, 32. Yeah, something like that. It's essentially like 5 Tiger Palms every 10 seconds. But so you're basically having to get a Tiger Palm off every 2 seconds to keep the uptime of this. But you have energy issues, right? Like that's quite difficult to do. Also, the setup's horrendous, right? Because initially you'd try to set up by starting at 180 energy, or I mean, you could do 120 and it'd be fine. So you'd set up, let's say you set up with 180 energy, and then you expended Storm, Earth, and Fire and Tiger Palm at the same time. You'd be sat on 60 energy, you'd have sent out 2 Flurry Strikes, and then your next Tiger Palm will send out another one. It was an amazing setup, worked really well, really intuitive, cool. The big issue with this now is that you do that opener again, and you're at 60 energy. Well, now you've got to send 2 Tiger Palms, right, to reach that 150 energy mark. And that's really awkward because in your opener, when you're at that point, you're already low on energy, especially if you don't have Hero. Like, if you don't have Lust, you're fucking good luck, bro. So, because usually you send out with 1, so now you're going to have to send out another 2 more Tiger Palms with, like, filler in between, and then you basically, it makes it really hard to send out all these Flurry Strikes, and it doesn't make any sense, because it's not like, I don't feel like Shadowpan's that strong. From, like, the Mythic Plus testing I did, Conduit felt stronger. A couple of weeks ago when I did that new dungeon, like, Conduit just felt stronger, regardless. In Raid, There are some bosses that I think Shadowpan might be better on. I think it's gonna be better on... Where are my bosses at? I could easily see it being better on Soulbinder. Soulbinder was like one of those ones... Oh, no, I get the log up as well. Soulbinder felt like it was an amazing Shadowpan fight in that... like, basically, you summon sets of ads, like a couple of ads every so often, but then like every 2 minutes or so, you spawn like an omega amount of ads, like an entire group of them. Wow, Flurry Strikes hits all of those with Crackling Jade Lightning, your damage just skyrockets. It felt like a really good fight for this, but if you're now struggling to get out these Flurry Strikes, you're 100% dropping against all odds as well. With the idea being that you want to stay at 20 stacks during your Storm, Earth, and Fire window. I could see this being really hard to maintain now, or almost impossible if the change goes like this. Like maybe if we get enough haste, it might be okay, but the thing is, you don't want your tier set to be really difficult to do, because if you're constantly focusing insanely hard on your tier set and making sure you keep uptime on, like, you're trying to keep uptime on this, you're trying to make sure you keep your, like, Flurry Strikes going, Tiger Palm, you end up spending so much time focusing on micromanaging this, you're not looking at the fight, right? You're not micromanaging the fight, you're micromanaging your cooldowns, and that shouldn't be how it's played. Whereas, if you know in your head, every 2 Tiger Palms during a Storm, Earth, and Fire, I'm going to expend this, then you just know that, right? Like, you don't have to think about it. But if it's like, is it 3 this time? Is it 2 this time? Oh shit, have I Tiger Palmed enough? Am I going to reach the 150 energy mark? Like it just feels so counterintuitive to make this change. I'm really unsure why they've done it. Maybe they thought it was too strong. Maybe they looked too much at the fact that the Windwalkers were pressing Storm, Earth, and Fire to, like... No, they wouldn't have done that. Because there was a bug initially where you could constantly press Storm, Earth, and Fire and keep expending Flurry Strikes. Maybe they didn't like that. I doubt that's why they've made this change. But, I don't know. It just feels like if this goes through, I could see Shadowpan just, like, not being played. Unless it's, like, really good in a certain fight. Like, why would I go through the stress of playing this in M+, and basically forcing myself to not focus on the dungeon itself, what the ads are doing, playing this minigame, but like really stressing on this minigame to do about the same damage that Conduit can, where I'm not stressing as much. I'm just playing my abilities on cooldown, the rotation kind of makes sense, it's chill, keep heart windows up, you know, it's fine, and then I can actually focus on what's going on. I don't know. Plus they nerf Flurry Strikes. Plus they nerf the damage of Flurry Strikes. Oh, Blizzard, why? Where's this log? So this was Fractilis, which is pure single target, and then this is... what's he called? Oh, it's from the other day, wasn't it? It's the first 3. Oh, get it up. We'll go for the Soulbinder kill. Yeah, so once again, like, it's not bad damage. You can see where all the damage comes from. It's Flurry Strikes and Crackling Jade Lightning. So this is Soulbinder Nazindri. I don't even know how you say that. Rogues looking kind of hot here. Cross DK, they're gonna get nerfed. Don't worry about it. So it's not like on fights like this, I don't think it's actually too bad. But you can see all the damage is coming from Crackling Jade Lightning and Flurry Strikes. But if Flurry Strikes is going to be really awkward to output now, and you're not going to... Like, this is basically playing on the old set where it's every 120 energy. So it's really easy to get the Flurry Strikes out. You're constantly hitting all the ads of those 2 minutes and 4 minutes. Like, it makes perfect sense. It all lines up nicely. Give us this, maybe. But if it's 150 energy, suddenly I'm not sending out as many Flurry Strikes. Like, nowhere near as much. I'm going to drop the 20% agility buff all the time. Which means my Crackling Jade Lightning is going to do less damage. My Flurry Strikes will then do less damage. Every other ability is going to do less damage because I'm relying on keeping those 20 stacks up. You see what I'm getting at? This is not an accurate damage representation if the Shadowpan change comes through. And then it's like, well, why would I even play Shadowpan on this fight? I don't know. It just feels really weird. Did they revert the previous nerf on Heart of the Jade Serpent? What previous nerf are you talking about? If you're talking about the one where they overlap, no. They committed to that, and I think that's fine. I think it's fine that the Slicing Winds one doesn't overlap anymore. Because I think that was a little busted, to be honest. And I think that was very expected. Like, a lot of Windwalkers are like, they're gonna nerf, if they're gonna nerf anything with this tier set, it's gonna be the fact that they're playing on different cycles. So I think that's fine. I think Conduit's in a fine place, but I just think overall, our damage numbers are not amazing. We look at Lumathar, another pure single target fight, right? Like once again, right? Beating the other melee, But like, well, not Frost DK. Don't worry about that too much. But like, in comparison to some other specs, like, is Windwalker really going to be brought here when you have like, you know, warlocks and druids just absolutely annihilating everything, you know? Because the big issue with Windwalker, right, and why it was so good last year was its damage numbers, right? Its damage numbers were insane. As well as that, Brewmaster sucked, so you didn't take Brewmaster. And Mistweaver was good, but so Windwalker was taken purely on the fact that it did insane damage, right? And that's usually like the basis for taking a Windwalker. Obviously, you know, if a spec does lots of damage, you're going to take it, obviously. But the biggest issue then becomes when you're not doing a lot of damage, or your damage is like mediocre, mid-tier, then it becomes, how is Brewmaster and how is Mistweaver? Are they going to be better, or are they good at the moment? Because if you take a Mistweaver, are you taking a Windwalker? Probably not if they're mid-tier, right? And I think Mistweavers are good. No, I think Mistweavers are good, guys. Everybody panic. I don't think Brewmasters will be taken to... Like, I don't think Brewmaster's going to be like this in Raid. I think other spec, there are like better ones. I think Prot Warrior might be better. But I think Mistweaver's still good. I think Mistweaver's like one of the stronger healers. Let's have a look at healing. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about Resto Shaman. Like, we didn't run many Mistweavers in our PTR testing, but we know, we're pretty confident that, like, Mistweavers are going to be good. So then that becomes like, well, is that just going to be the monk spot, right? You give it to the Mistweaver. So what am I trying to get at? I think our damage numbers are too low, which is fine. There's still more, like, changes that can come in. And it's okay to be mid-table, right? Like, mid-table's fine. We had our time in the sun. But it just feels bad that when you're a single DPS spec, right, to basically not be nearer the top, because especially if like your spot is like competitive with a healer or a tank, right, and that healer or that tank's good, it's like, well, you're even gonna get a spot. Unlikely. And especially if they bring these Shadowpan nerfs in again, well, Shadowpan was carrying me on the AoE fights, like Soulbinder and what's the other one? Araz. Like Araz is really good as well. Even the 3 Demon Hunters, I didn't get a lot of testing on that because it was super laggy. Insanely laggy for us to try and test, but it's not too bad on that either. Like the ideal situation going into this tier was that you'd play some Shadowpan, you'd play some Conduit. But I think if these Shadowpan changes come in, it might almost be another Conduit tier. It's really hard to say, though, without being able to test this. I don't know why they've changed it. Like, they did this, like, 2 weeks ago, by the way. Like, a week and a half ago, they made these changes. But they haven't implemented them. It makes no fucking sense. Like, if you... like, is this, like, a threat? Are you threatening me, Blizzard? They're like... you monk step out of line again, we're implementing this shit. Because it's not gone live. They've just changed the text on it. So, like, for M+, like... Why would I do this? It's already like, in M+, it's different, right? In M+, you, like a boss fight's shorter, obviously, makes sense, and you get a lot of value from Lust. In M+, you get less value because it's a long thing. So if you're not rocking like tons of haste, you are never getting this 150 energy like spent for your entire Storm, Earth, and Fire every set. It's just not going to be possible. So I think that loses tons of value in M+, which I already thought Shadowpan wasn't that great in M+, depending on the dungeon. It might be better on some of the dungeons I haven't played on, but why would I not just play Conduit? Like, Conduit does good boss damage in M+, it does good AoE, it's got good uptime on all of its like abilities, you're constantly pressing, damaging abilities. Sure, they're not as strong as some other specs, but at least it feels like you're doing damage and you're not like screwing yourself over by like, cause basically what I'm trying to say is it's going to be really easy to screw yourself over by getting the burst window wrong of Shadowpan with the 150 change. But with Conduit, it's kind of hard to screw yourself over in a way. Like, and if you screw yourself over a little bit on Conduit, it's not as punishing. If you screw your burst window up on Shadowpan, yeah, you're fucked. like in the nicest terms, if you mess up like that burst window where you're trying to get all your flurry strikes out and stuff, well, it feels horrendous. Especially if it becomes harder to do with the 150 energy change. Now, obviously, there's more tuning that's going to come. Maybe they'll make some more changes. Maybe it'll be okay. But right now, I'm really worried about this. Especially as like Shadowpan's always like been the one that I've said it. Shadowpan's the easier one. If you want to learn Windwalker, go play Shadowpan. You know, like Shadowpan's a lot more user friendly. It helps you with the fundamentals. this burst window is going to be insanely hard to manage. You have to, like, the setup you have to do for this, even with the 120 energy, right? You have to do some pretty good setup to make sure you get the value from it. You have to think about your Crackling Jade Lightnings as well. I'm finding a lot of the time now that I will not just send 20 Crackling Jade Lightnings instantly, which is usually what you did with Shadowpan Season 2. Now you want to make sure you're trying to line it up with against all odds. I mean, you should have been... I mean, I guess you could have been doing that anyway in Season 2. But it's a lot more, like, efficient to be lining up with, like, these bursts, especially 20 stacks. You want to be lining up Crackling Jade Lightning. Basically, I think Shadowpan's a fair bit more complex, and it's like, am I getting the value? Am I getting the damage from the complexity? And I don't know, if you will, from this. It's hard to tell, though. It's still PTR. But those are my thoughts. We're staying positive, right? Was that positive? Yeah? We positive about all of this? Being mid is better. More chance of buff and less chance of getting nerfed. True. I suppose it depends what you're playing, right? Like, for me, it's rough because my raid spot is determined on how well my spec is at the start of a tier, right? But that, I guess, like, yeah, like previously when I used to raid, like, I don't know, for whatever guild it was, back in day, like a year ago, I didn't mind being mid tier because in my mind I was exactly like that. I was like, yes, if you're mid tier, you're gonna get buffed. Hell yeah, Windwalker, we're gonna get buffed mid season. For me, it's just rough at the start. I feel like you're gonna maybe struggle if it goes out like this. But like the saving grace, which is like the worst saving grace ever, is that all melees look awful at the moment. From all the raid testing I've done, every melee spec except for Frost DK looks like it is garbage tier. And usually, if all the melees look like they're kind of garbage tier, then they're probably gonna get buffed, right? Like range just seem like so strong at the moment on the PTR. Melees just look like they're struggling on a lot of things in AoE, on all the raid bosses we tested. Like, unless you were playing a Frost DK, it was like really hard to compete with any of the range specs. So potentially there'll still be some changes coming in. So I wouldn't worry. I'm not worried just yet. I'm just concerned about Shadowpan. I just really hope they don't. I hope they just decide that they're not going to do this, because I think Shadowpan, like, I remember the video I made when these tier sets came out, and I was like really like excited about Shadowpan and stuff. And if they change it to this 150 energy and reduce the damage of flurry strikes and stuff, I'm not going to be happy about this, in the sense like I think that's an awful game change, especially with like how you're meant to be, like the idea of how you're meant to play this is you need to keep your stacks up in your burst window. If you cannot keep your against all odds stacks up, like what's the point? Like the entire point of against all odds is to keep it at 20 in this season during your burst window to get huge burst from Shadowpan, and then outside of that you're just doing kind of chill damage. If you can't do that, you might as well just play Conduit. And it's like, well, why are we killing this? Why are we killing this? Why are we killing this hero talent? Because in season 2, although Conduit was better in raid, right? It's not like you couldn't play Shadowpan in raid. Like at times I was able to, like, you know, do insane damage on Shadowpan on certain bosses. And even then you weren't doing like crazy bad. Like obviously it was better to go Conduit, but you could still play Shadowpan and not be the worst DPS in the raid, right? And in M+, it's always been, you can go Conduit or you can go Shadowpan. They're both chill. You can play them both in M+. They're both competitive. They both do damage. You know, whatever you're feeling on that day. Maybe at higher M+, it's probably better to go Conduit here. Or maybe it's better to go Shadowpan on this certain, like, dungeon. Right now, I'm just getting this feeling that it's, like... I don't even know if I'd, like, recommend playing Shadowpan. But they need to... If they want to implement this, they need to put this in the game. If I can't test this. How can I tell? Like, yeah, that's the craziest part. Is that they put it in, but they haven't put it in. And it's like, well, how are you going to get any data on how these changes work if you're not going to implement it, right? Like, if I could hit this dummy and like demonstrate what this looks like, you would understand what I'm trying to get, what I'm getting at here of keeping the stacks up and stuff. Horrendous stuff, like absolutely horrendous change. So maybe this was just an intern, right? The intern was just like, you know, chilling. He was just messing around with some tier set buttons. You know, maybe he was meant to be like, oh, I get it now. So basically, the intern was basically looking at Frost DK, and he was putting in the numbers for Frost DK so that they get their nerf, but he accidentally pressed Windwalker and put the numbers in. But the implementation's not there because they're not meant to change Windwalker. We're actually meant to be it's all meant to be fine, right? This is all good. Yeah? 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 Alright. Enough complaining. I'm gonna try do some dungeons now. Oh, this doesn't look good. Oh, dungeon's gone. Yeah, so the idea is I want to like test out some Shadowpan, test out some Conduit. Of course, I picked probably the worst day to come onto the PTR, to be honest. A Monday afternoon in EU. So NA's all sleeping. Asia's probably sleeping as well. Oceania's probably having a fat snooze as well. Who knows? Probably just Europe, and everybody's like not playing this because it's a Monday. So we'll see how it goes. If I can't really get into dungeons, I'll just go on live. There's still like plenty of PTR to still go. You've got the War Within dungeons that are coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Tuesday evening for me. And then you have the next cycle, which is all the dungeons. So there's still like be plenty of PTR. But I wouldn't be surprised if I picked like the worst possible day imaginable to try and do some PTR testing. So if I can't really find any dungeons and stuff, I will just go on live and I'll lose my mind into some M+ for a bit. And then try on an easier day. Like an easier day would be like a Wednesday, right? When the dungeons come out, or the weekend when everybody's actually playing and stuff in the evening. But we'll see. I'm not giving up just yet. Like there are groups, but you can see like Tank Drought, Healer Drought, Getting Invited Drought, classic. Doo-doo-doo. Thank you for following Igcas, IGCas, and Stupid Aussie Drongo. I guess the Australians are awake. Awesome. Maybe they'll join my M+. Stupid. Declined! For another Windwalker. Feels weird, man. That's a feels weird, man. Is it my item level? Classic. What the fuck is this shit? I can't be that mad. Another Windwalker got in. At least that. I'll allow it. Oh, man. On the plus side, at least they've allowed you to now take Lily of the Eternal Weave. So I'm using this now as the trinket. This is basically what I imagine your trinket's going to be for Season 3, for Conduit especially. Lily and probably Improvised Sephorian Pacemaker. Like, Lily's basically your House of Cards, right? Your House of Cards, it does the exact same thing. Technically a little bit weaker at the moment, which is a bit weird. House of Cards, stronger in M+, I think, because, okay, cool. Stronger in M+, I think because it's like a consistent damage, whereas House of Cards was kind of like, you get between this number and this number, so you could like low roll it and get 8,500. Whereas this is always like 9,577. However, technically, I think this is weaker on boss fights right now, because at least with House of Cards, it's scaled. Like it increased the minimum each time. So I don't know if this needs a little bit of a slight buff, like a tiny little buff. But I'm going to use this trinket anyway, because it's basically what I'm expecting you'll run in Season 2. Season 3, even. We're on Season 3 now. Please let me do a dungeon with you, Hunter. I will do so good. I promise. Is it because my M+ score is too low? I'm sorry, boss. Your M+ score on the PCR is just too low. What, you rocking 453? Get the fuck out of here. Guys, please. I promise I'll do good. I haven't... Hunter, listen to me. I got an 8% Mystic Touch buff. You want that. I know you want it. Come on. Get me in. What else have I tested out? I tested out this cloak. I think the cloak's pretty mid. Like, the latent energy doesn't really do much. It's just like a passive damage effect that does a little bit here and there. Something you probably not even think about. Just, you know, borrowed power in it. I think as well... It seems weird, but with Conduit, it feels like we're going to be leaning a lot more to haste, which is weird in a way. Because you'd think we'd be more like... You'd think that we'd be looking for more crit and versatility like we have done at the end of Season 2. Let me say hi to this guy so he doesn't kick me. But the thing is, the idea with like Conduit at the moment is you want as many Fist of Furies off as possible, right? That's your goal. Your goal is to be Fist of Furying all the time, pretty much, in your Heart of the Jade Serpent windows. Outside your Heart of the Jade Serpent windows, you just want to be Fist of Furying. Well, how do you do that? More haste. So the tier set allows you to generate a lot more haste, just passively, because of every time you use Heart of the Jade Serpent, you get like a haste buff. So if you're stacking more haste on more haste, you're actually getting massive, like, you're just getting tons of, like, cooldown reduction. You're able to, like, keep the flow going with Tiger Palm and Chi. So haste, I think, is going to actually take a bit more priority. I don't know how high this will go before it's like, oh, you got too much haste, brother. But just from like reading some theory crafting and stuff, it looks like surprised me. I didn't think haste would be that prominent. I thought the tier set would just carry you on haste, but actually it looks like that you still probably want to be getting a bit more haste. I think in terms of mastery, we're probably at that period, like at that number right now, like 92, 100%, where it's probably okay. You're probably fine with that much, just because of the diminishing returns. I couldn't see us going too much higher on the mastery, to be honest. Because even like season 2, you're kind of heading towards versatility and crit at the moment now. Because you have so much mastery now that you just get more value from those other secondaries. So I could see it being like a haste equals mastery sort of tier, which it kind of was. This season, it kind of was that. Season 2, it was actually mastery over haste, right? But I could see it being like haste equal mastery, with crit and verse equaling each other just below it. But obviously, very early days. He says, with the tier coming out in like a month. It's still early days, guy. Everybody, calm down. Let's get to this dungeon. Can I showcase an opener on Conduit as of right now? I can. We were waiting for a tank. Yeah, I can do. I literally think the opener's going to be about the same. Like, genuinely pretty much the same as it was in Season 1. And you got to get lucky, basically. Are you going to get your Zuin's Battle Gear procs or not? I think it's easier in the raid, a little bit harder outside of it. If you do get it, more Fist of Fury. If you don't get it, you just gotta understand what to do when you don't get it. So I'm pretty much just do the exact same opener. I think you Fist of Furies first to get it on cooldown. Slicing wins because you're double stacking it, and then we got the proc, right? And then you just keep going. And the idea is to like Rising Sun Kick as often as possible. So you want Fist of Fury, right? But because of this build that I'm going, you want a Spinning Crane Kick, but like I want to get it to 2 stacked as often as possible. To give me the extra play with it. So like on 1 stack of this Spinning Crane Kick, I'm barely sending it in my opener. If it gets to 2, I will send it. And then I try to never Rising Sun Kick unless I have Fist of Fury on cooldown. Basically all I'm trying to do with Rising Sun Kick right now is have it as a way to reduce the cooldown of Fist of Fury. You can see, like, once again, I reduce the cooldown. I'm on 2 stacks, but I'm not sending my stacks out till I send out Fist of Fury. So the idea is to constantly sending out as many Fist of Furies as possible. Kind of makes sense. And then, see, this is where, like, with the other build where you're not running, what's it called? When you're not running Dance of the Chiji and stuff like that, or Revolving Wind is what I should say, or Whirling Dragon Punch. This is where I feel like you have so much downtime. Oh, double target palmed. Fucking PTR classic. So yeah, basically I'm always prioritizing Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury. So this is what I mean, right? Your cooldowns that come off cooldown. Does that make sense? Sure, why not? But I'm having to wait here now because I wasn't basically allowing myself to hold Strike of the Windlord and Slicing Winds for such an extended period of time. Like, to me, that is insanity. So my cooldowns actually are like 138 or something like that. Oh. So like previously this was a lot more faster paced, but I think it's fine being a little bit slower. I think it's a lot less, not as overwhelming, did I say? And at no point am I like really having downtime. And you see that I barely pressed Blackout Kick. I think I've maybe pressed Blackout Kick once, if that. Like, I genuinely don't think I've pressed Blackout Kick at all. And I'm still debating on the fact of whether it's better to send a Fist of Fury as soon as it's up, or allow myself to get a, like, wait for Strike of the Windlord to come up or something, whilst I send something else out. And I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that I actually prefer, like, waiting for the Strike of the Windlord. So, like, the only time I pressed Blackout Kick here was to allow myself to get a Fist of Fury out. Because I knew that I had Fist of Fury up, and then to get the correct amount of chi, I had to Blackout Kick to do that. So I think it actually plays, like, it plays quite nicely outside of your, it plays pretty well outside of your big cooldowns, but then, once again, right, my cooldowns are coming off of cooldown. But look, I sent out the Strike of the Windlord because I think it's just straight illegal to be holding it for so long. But it does delay your 1 minute 30s. Maybe that's not how it's played, but I think that would be insanity to have it not played like that. So like once again, like basically I'm 13 seconds behind where in season 2 where I would have sent out my my 3 minutes, if that makes sense. And like the damage isn't bad. But it's just trying to find this like balance basically. Oh. Anyway, let's roll away from that. So you can see like all the damage coming from like spinning crane kick, Fist of Fury, slicing winds, gale force. Slicing winds does a lot less damage now. I need to be right back 1 sec. My doorbell is ringing. Oh shit, 2 secs. Hello, sorry about that. Doorbell. I got some pillows. Woohoo! I have pillows, but I got more pillows because, you know. Anyway, I digress. Do. Oh, Dancer! Thank you for the sub. I completely missed that. I'm sorry. Oh no, Bro's gotten so big to thank first time subs. No, I was in like the middle of my rotation. You got to understand. I was like fully focusing on that. I was trying to explain it really poorly. No, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What was I going to show? I was going to show Blackout Kick. I pressed it 5 times, right? Like, so this is like bockless cock, and I really prefer this build to the other builds. So Blackout Kick is basically just a button I press when, essentially, I want to like. So you know how? Okay, well you know your Windwalkers. Fist of Fury is 3 chi, right? Rising Sun Kick obviously costs 2. Blackout Kick costs 1. So you end up in that situation where you have no chi, you press Tiger Palm, you go to 2. I can't Rising Sun Kick. So if I Rising Sun Kick, I go back to 0, and that just kind of fucks me, yeah? And I don't want to double Tiger Palm because that's just genuinely illegal. Never do that. That is bad. So the only time I'm really using Blackout Kick at the moment now is to basically Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick. Like if I'd spinning Crane Kick or something, I'd press that instead. But it's when I don't have that ability, and I need to get a Fist of Fury out because it's just come off cooldown or it's been off cooldown for a second or so. So then you Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm again, get into the Fist of Fury, and that's the only time I'm really ever using Blackout Kick. It's a really weird play style, especially coming from like season 2 where you want to Blackout Kick, especially in like AoE, right? Shadowboxing treads, all that jazz. But essentially you've taken out all the talents that do any damage here for Blackout Kick. No Courageous Impulse, no Brawler's Intensity, no Hardened Souls, no Shadowboxing treads, no energy burst, no martial mixture, you know, no sequence strike, you know, all this jazz. You're basically like, you're binning this button. But it doesn't mean that you take this off your bars. There are still moments where it is worth pressing it to allow yourself to keep going. And I suppose another thing to note is that outside of your mid 30s, it's always vital to make sure you're Strike of the Wind Lording and then Slicing Winds. Because these as your heart window activators. The reason for this is that Strike of the Windlord gives you Gale Force, right? For 10 seconds after you press it. So you Strike of the Windlord first, do your 6-second heart window, and then Slicing Winds will 100% be up, like it should always come up. That's just how the cycle works. So then you get basically the value from Gale Force on the Slicing Winds itself, but also the abilities, half of the abilities that you press during this cycle, like 4 seconds of the 8. So if you have these two buttons up at any point outside of your minute 30s, never press Slicing Winds first. Always go for Strike of the Windlord first, because you're essentially just trying to buff, like, increase the damage. And you can see that's why Gale Force is now my 4th highest damage. It's a lot stronger this season than it was last season, just because you're obviously getting more Strike of the Windlords outright, and just more value from it overall. So Gale Force is up there. Slicing Winds has taken a massive hit since the nerfs, which is okay. Like, Slicing Winds used to be, like, competing for 2nd place in damage, which is kind of stupid, to be honest. So this is kind of how the damage breakdown looks, in a way. Like, Spinning Crane Kick is still really high up. You only press. I'm pretty much only pressing this now when I get Chi-Ji. I don't think I press this a single time without Chi-Ji, and that's just because there's just no time to do so. Because you're constantly managing Fist of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, your Heart Windows, Whirling Dragon Punch, all this jazz. Like, filler abilities don't really exist anymore. In a way, like, your filler abilities are now a proc Spinning Crane Kick. Whirling Dragon Punch is practically filler. And it's basically just keeping up Fist of Fury uptime as much as possible, like reducing the cooldown of Rising Sun Kick. It's just rotating between these two abilities while keeping your heart windows up. I'm probably doing an awful job explaining it, but it makes sense to me. That is an awful reason. You don't like OG viewers anymore, it's okay. I mean, I'm glad someone said it. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but you know how it is. Nah, a joke. You think Windwalker Monk will be strong in Season 3 for Raid and M+? Pull up the image. Pull up the image. How it's implemented right now? No. And I try to be like this positive Windwalker player that like tries to find like the positives and things. Like, I don't think it'll be bad, right? But like, you've always got to compare it to the season that you've come from, right? And even right now, right, in Season 2, Windwalker's dropped so far in Raid that we're actually in the bottom half. We're, like, actually, like, awful right now in Raid. And that's not because of nerfs or anything. Like, we were nerfed at the start. It's just scaling. We've scaled atrociously compared to other specs. We'll be mid... like, right now, if things go how it is, just based on my own Raid testing and stuff... Oh, shit, I need to get to this dungeon, like, now. I think we'll be mid-tier. Like B. B seems like reasonable. I hate giving like rankings and stuff. I think like tier lists and that are just pure like clickbait shit. But yeah, I kind of agree. B tier makes B tier kind of makes sense. I think there'll be some fights we're pretty good on. Like, I could see like if Shadowpan stays how it is without the nerfs that are coming, which please don't send them through. I could see us being like really good on certain bosses like Forge Weaver and Soulbinder. I could see us being like really good on those. However, on like the pure single target fights and stuff like that, I just don't think we can keep up anymore. Some specs just seem to be able to absolutely blitz us. Like, remember in Season 2, how our burst window was just uncompetable. No one could compete with our burst window. You'd do an opener on pull, top of the meters. Every 1 minute 30, you just jump straight back up. Now it feels like I'm fighting for like 5th, 6th in the DPS meters, even with this pure burst and stuff, because other specs are just doing it better. Hold on. Inbound. I need to tell them that I'm inbound. I don't know. I don't want to Doom on Windwalker, so I'm going to play this spec, right? But sometimes being real is necessary. Okay, we're going to go Halls of Atonement. I haven't done this dungeon since Shadowlands. I don't know how this dungeon goes. It's a 15. Lol. I've waited about half an hour to get in here. I do not remember this. Oh, I remember this dungeon. Oh, fuck, I hate this dungeon. Wait, do I? No, I do like this dungeon. I have bad memories here, but I was a bad player back then. Times have changed. I'm a good player now. This dungeon's gonna be chill. This dungeon's gonna be chill. We're gonna go Conduit for this one. So I just want to see how Conduit feels. Whilst I'm learning the dungeon again.
5, 4, 3.
No monks in rage. Sad.
1.
I could see Windwalker not being taken in Race to Worldthirst really easily. I could see Mistweaver getting their spot. I don't think Brewmaster will, but I could see Mistweaver getting the Race to Worldthirst spot. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sometimes it sucks to be real. Oh, we go this way now. I thought you used to go that way first. Where are we going? What the fuck is going on? Am I dead? What the fuck's that? Oh, God. I have no idea what's going on. Thoughts? Does anyone know what's going on? Woo! I have a curse on me. Okay, you cannot diffuse magic that curse off of yourself. That kind of hurts a little bit. Tank's dead. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that was a massive pull. Why am I doing any damage? Why am I not doing any damage? Help! Oh, no. I mean, anything can happen with tuning, especially after the race. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Anything can happen with tuning. Am I going to get... What the fuck? What is this? If you don't return to the instance within the remaining time, you'll be kicked from the instance group and receive a penalty for leaving. Huh? We're just resetting the dungeon, bro. Oh? Blizzard, you're cooked. What do you mean? Please don't give me a timer. Can I come back in? I'm going back. Please! The tank hasn't left the instant. I'm going back in. I'm not fucking getting penalty timed. Fuck that shit. Oh, saved. I mean, yeah, there's still time for tuning on the PTR. I mean, in that first pull, all the damage came from Slicing Wind's Fist of Fury. Kind of expected, to be honest. Like, Slicing Wind still packs an absolute punch, but eventually, like, Spinning Crane Kick will start, like, scaling a bit better. As you get further into the dungeon. Much bleed. Much bleed. Very bad. Need Evoker to cure my wounds. Yeah, I remember back in the day you used to go up here first, no? You used to blow up that guy. Because I remember Shadowlands Season... whatever it was, you used to have the, didn't you summon, like, the Shadow versions or something? Like, the Affix? I remember the Affix, and you summoned, like, every ad that had died previously. Oh my god, it was carnage. I really wish that, Slicing Winds was gone. Yeah, I mean, they've fully committed to Slicing Winds. I don't think it's going anywhere, I'll be honest. I've got aggro. Thoughts? My thoughts are, I don't like that. Okay, my thoughts are I just got one shot. What? Ooh, tank just left. I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty big pull. Pretty gnarly pull to start things off with. I remember... Am I crazy to think that, like, initially, back in Shadowlands, you just pull, like, the first pack over here and then go right? I feel like we're pulling, like, the entire dungeon. Ooh, okay. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? What have we learned? Oh, look at these dungeons. Holy shit, everybody's playing now. EU's woken up, boys. NA's... Wait, no, NA? The other one. The worst region. The sucky region. You decide which one that is. In other news, my guild got Muggsy to 9% yesterday. If we don't get him tonight, I fear the CE dream is dead. I wouldn't... I still think there's plenty of time. Like, even if you don't get him down tonight, let's say you got Muggsy down next reset, do not fear Gallywix. Like, obviously it's a raid boss and you need to prep for it, and there are actually, like, mechanics and shit, obviously. But if you can get past Muggsy, you can down Gallywix. Like, once you're past P1, P1's the hard part, right? Where you actually have to have, like, players using their brain to stand in the soaks and stuff. Once you're past that, it is literally just a survival fight. Like, once you play it, you'll understand. Like, it's a really weird one. Especially if you're not the person that needs to, like, hold the canister or anything. All you're doing is just standing in your spot, being a good boy, and moving out if you get mechanics. Like, compared to Muggsy, Muggsy is like a... I mean, I know it's been nerfed a lot, but it's still a beast, right? Like, getting the jails right, getting everybody in, it can be hell on earth. Oh, they're doing Tajavesh. Can't TP. I know. Oh, I'm trapped here. How do I get to Tajavesh? They're gonna kick me. No, they're gonna kick me. Fuck. Fuck. Dalaran? Wait, Dalaran. This is what happens when you wipe a dungeon within 10 seconds of starting the dungeon, because you cannot TP to Dornagle. Is Windwalker as a class still a complete dumpster fire? I don't think we were a dumpster fire last season. I'm a little bit worried for next season. It's one of those situations where I think a spec should either be good at M+ or good in raid, right? I don't think a spec should be good at both, and I don't think a spec should be good at none. And last season was like a really good example of that, where we weren't great in M+, but we were really good to start with in the raid. Obviously, we've regressed, but at least, like, for the majority of the raid, Windwalker was actually decent. People took it. It was had some recognition. Right now, I'm worried we're going to be bad at both, or, like, mid at both. That would suck. No one summoned me, by the way. No one summoned me, by the way. I'm here. You can do it. Gallywix is piss. Hell yeah, yeah. Gallywix is piss. Although the last thing you want to do is go in thinking that Gallywix is piss, because that is what gets a lot of people. Like, all you hear is that Muggsy is the end boss, Muggsy is the end boss, and then you don't prep as much for Gallywix. You still actually have to know, like, the entire group has to know what they're doing for P1 especially, mechanic-wise and stuff. Because once you get into P2, it's only a matter of pulls until you kill it. Like, guilds go from, like, 50% to 10% in, like, just a random pull here and there, and then they'll down it. P1, I think, is where, like, you'll end up wiping a lot if people just, like, kind of just go, this is free. We're down Muggsy, this is it, you know? I think that's, like, complacency will just be like, it's fine now, we got Muggsy down. Gallywix, I heard that guy's chill. And he is chiller, but he's still an M-boss, alright? He still has mechanics. But Muggsy, yeah, a lot more punishing. We'll go Conduit again.
4,
What could go wrong?
2, 1.
P2 is a target dummy? Yeah, P2 is a target dummy. Especially if you have no responsibility in it. Like, if you're not a bomb carrier, like, what... like, if your one sole purpose is not just to survive, like, what even? I literally spend the entire fight in the corner just doing nothing. Okay, this is kind of a big pull. Oh, shit, this is a massive pull. I probably should have focused the giant, right? Oh, that's a bit awkward. Sir, why is that hunter doing 40 million damage? Tell me it's a bug. Tell me it's a bug right now. Why is that hunter... Huh? Oh, it's Stampede. He just sends his little beasts on it, and they just do all his damage for him. Fucking great spec. Yeah, me too. I'd send my Jade Serpent. They can do all the damage for me. Oh my god. It's fine. I'm sure it's just bloodlust pool damage, right? Right. It appears I'm doing tank damage right now. Guys, do not be concerned. Windwalker's good. Do not be concerned. This damage number right here, don't look at it. Everybody close your eyes. I'm going to hide it in a sec. Yeah, you don't want to see what's going on here. This pull I'm about to pop off. You don't even know. Yo, I'm popping off. I'm doing tank damage now. I'm beating the tank. It's free. Ow. Ow. Oh. Oh shit, we're almost beating them? Sit, Zoggies? Don't worry. Slowly I'll catch up. Slowly I'll catch up. That is... Guys, I think Stampede's got to be broken, right? There's... What the fuck is that? Oh, we'll pretend it's broken, just for my sanity. What is that? Cry of MMRLLGG. Please, big wigs, you've got to come up with better. Cry of MRRILG. Can it not just say cry of Merlololol? That'd be a lot more. Please don't say MLRGGG again. You fucking busted robot. Oh shit! We'll pop in. Oh, I was a bit delayed there on slicing winds. Am I sending coolies here? No, I'm actually gonna hold. So I'm gonna send out another heart window. Which sounds crazy, sounds ludicrous, but I need to get into the rhythm of like understanding like when to send out like a mini burst window again. Because it's gonna be different for this season. And I think that was a good play. There was no point sending cooldowns out on like 2 ads, right? But now my cooldowns are all back up again. For this massive pull. So I think that was kind of the right call. Pull the giant bitch. You won't. Okay, you won't. Oh. Cry of MRRLGG. Oh, it's so cooked. Big wigs, please. I'm gonna turn it off in a sec. Okay, look. You see what I mean, right? We're slowly pulling back up the meters. It's just stupid burst on pull, you know. DK died, you know. Like you can't do damage if you're dead, bozo. Oh my god. I'm trying to like convince myself that everything's okay. Oh, that's gonna hurt on M+. That's gonna hurt high keys. Like, that was horrendous. The Tidal Stomp. You're gonna need to defensive that. This just in, Windwalkers are better than Frost DKs. I don't make the rules. Just how it be. So like once again, I didn't think it was worth holding my cooldowns for like my 1 minute 30s here. Instead, send out the mini burst window and then have my cooldowns up for the next pack. You can't. I feel like sending on cooldown is just. I mean, I don't do that in M+ now, like on live, so it doesn't really make sense to do it outside of live either. Could be completely wrong. Oh god, Conduit's popping off. Yo, 21 milli? I'm the hunter now, bitch. Yeah, not bad. would you listen to your Sims for M+? It's saying that Shadowpan's better than Conduit on, like, live servers? There's a little bit like a grain of salt you have to take with Sims on live servers at the moment, in that, like, Dungeon Slice, I think, is better for Shadowpan, which is the one that everybody uses. And then Dungeon Root, which is, like, a specific one, is catered a bit more to... Which is, like, where you actually input your root and stuff. That actually Sims better for Conduit. So I wouldn't compare them to each other, if that makes sense. Like, in, like, a weird way. Like, the Sims kind of just don't work like that. Oh, God, that's horrible. So, yeah, I wouldn't... What the fuck is this? Oh, you can't... like, an M+ in Season 2, like, on live servers, I would just play whatever you want. I think they're both good at different things. Certain dungeons are better for Shadowpan, I think. Some Shadowpan is a bit weaker on. Like, Theatre of Pain, I think, is really good for Shadowpan. Can I take this if I use magic it? Nope. Well, I mean, yes, but... Oh, fuck, get me out! This is kind of a crazy room. Once again, saving cooldowns, right? I want them for the boss. Oh! I don't remember how this boss works, I'll be honest. There are runes on the floor or something? Don't I have to, like, stand on them? Yeah, that sounds right. Something to do with... Yeah. I'm sure we'll find out. Yo, it's discount tier. Hillbrad. Like the foothills. Alright, let's see how Windwalker single target holds up against these bozos. Ow. Is that a tank frontal by any chance? Noted. There is a tank frontal in this fight. And it fucking hurts. What is this? Why are you purging me? Oh! Well, that gave me no time to dodge that. I live! I'll take this rune. What am I doing with it? What the fuck am I doing? What is going on up there? Oh! What are you doing? What the fuck is going on? Huh? That makes no sense. I don't help. I have no idea how this boss works. I'm going to assume the codes on there indicate to top left, top right, that sort of jazz, right? And I was just being stupid. We all in agreement I was being stupid there? That sounds about right. Yeah, I think I worked it out. I did work it out. After I got Omega pinged. Oh, no, I've died to this before. Get me out. Ooh, that thing instantly comes in. Yo, how long this last? Don't you dare go into your P2 phase. I'm padding right now. What the... What is that damage? It's illegal. Oh, he went into his phase. Okay, so I grabbed this. This dude's sucking off the podium. I'm blue, so I'm bottom left. I've worked out, guys. This is how you... This is high-end Mythic Plus strats right here. I'm so good at this video game. Not too bad. On, like, the boss. I mean, damage-wise. I think the single target, we're still not bad at single target, but Frost DK is just so strong at the moment. Hunter did surprising damage. Stampede has to be broken, right? It's doing 1.26 billion damage. Huh? Yeah? We all on board with it being broken? We'll save cooldowns again for going down bottom, because there's just no point sending them here. Feels a bit awkward, but so we'll send out a mini burst window again. I'm debating, maybe it's not worth sending out the mini one here. These ads would all just be dead, though, so I lose all my cooldowns. My burst window is so powerful, but maybe it's just not worth holding it. Super Saison? What the... What? I mean, my damage, like, this spinning crane kick, slicing wind, scale force, all these numbers look bright. Like, in, like, compared to, like, the target dummy I showed, like, in the ordering, like, I just think our damage numbers are just low. As is with M+ in it.
Apologies, Captain. Please direct your grievances towards my associates.
Mine's top left. Alright, any insight on what to do on this boss? There are gonna be a big dragon. And I'll tell you right now, he is pissed off. Woo! Wait, that's on me? Shit.
I'm out of range.
Can we get a 10% aura buff like Frost DK got? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Like, I'm optimistic they will give us some sort of, like, damage aura buff. I just think we're very low down on the damage in both AoE and single target. And, like, I mean, I said it earlier, but I think, like, you should at least be, like, strong at 1. Like, your spec should be good in Raid, or it should be good in M+. It shouldn't be good at both. I think that's illegal. Obviously, this is, like, in a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. Okay, dodge the frontal. Oh! Yeah, there ain't gonna be any dodging this. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark, I'll be honest. Are we meant to be fighting it in this, like, tiny corner? I have no idea what's going on. Players are dropping. It appears that I've been anchored. I'm just going to allow it. I'm just going to allow it. Oh, get away from me! Oh, I'm so dead. Why are we actually not scaling well at the moment? Shouldn't we scale well with haste and mastery instead of like burst like in the past? I'm not too sure. I think our damage numbers are low, right? Like you can scale all you want, but if your numbers aren't quite there, then the scaling doesn't matter, right? Like I think we've reached like a peak in like mastery, for instance. Like I really would be surprised if mastery goes like much higher. And realistically, when it comes to like haste and stuff in season 2, you don't actually need that much more haste for conduit, because you like in conduit plays a lot slower than it does in season 3, right? So the extra haste doesn't actually give you that much. Like you can still play your burst windows. Oh, we just okay. I guess they want to abandon the instance. Get to second boss. Abandon. That's kind of cringe. But I think the idea is that we're gonna focus a bit more on haste in season 3, especially with conduit. Like Shadowpan already focused a bit more on haste, but in season 3 it looked like haste is gonna be a bit more of a focus, which is kind of good because haste is a good one to scale off of. Like it's not like haste was bad in season 2, But like with Conduit, for instance, you reached like a certain amount of haste, and then the Sims were like, we don't need any more, right? You're still going to be able to successfully do your burst window. You're still going to be able to do this, that. Like, you don't need any more haste to do your burst window. Whereas now, because our tier set allows us to get more haste, like 15% increase your haste by 15% while active, like pretty much all the time. More haste is going to allow more Fist of Furies. It's going to allow faster cooldowns on your other abilities. It's going to allow you to actually play like really fast paced. If that kind of makes sense. So I don't know. I don't think it's like a scaling thing. I genuinely just think it's a numbers thing. Hey, Fisty Cuffs. Thank you so much for the subscription. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Great name, by the way. Very monk name. Unlike me, I'm PK Porno. It's not, well, Windwalker POV, I guess, is quite a Windwalker name, but Fisty Cuffs is a good one. I like that one. That's a good name. Throwing support at fellow Windwalker, we're dying out. Let me put it this way. We're not going to be Flavor of the Month next, We're not going to be Flavor of the Month next, tier. Which some people like, but I actually was quite happy that a lot of people were getting into Windwalker, because it's like just one of those like fringe specs. Because I always say, like, when you try Windwalker, then like you actually like go, oh shit, this is actually a really, really fun spec. And so I'm sure there's like a lot of people that like re-rolled it because it was the best thing and like actually stuck with it, even as just an alt, right? But like getting people to actually play Monk is very difficult. It's like it's the third lowest. Rogue is just below it, and then Evoker, but Evoker's only been out for like a few years, right? We'll play Shadowpan on this one. We're gonna play right. This build was cooked up the other day, like in a Theorycraft sim, so I'm not quite sure how it's gonna work. It's a 1 minute 30 Shadowpan, which goes against my entire principles for how I thought Shadowpan was gonna work in season 2, but I am in season 3 even. But I am not a theory crafter. They cook, and I eat. So I'm eating right now. I'm eating their sim. So I guess the idea, compared to what I was running before, so before I was running, not that one, that one's fucking horrendous. This one, so there's a slight difference, like it's not too much of a difference. The difference is the Rising Sun Kick is no longer pressed that much because it no longer reduced the cooldown with this build that I'm trying out. So basically Zuin's Battle Gear's gone, right? So more focus on things like Blackout Kick, a bit more focus on Spinning Crane Kick instead, depending on target count. 1 minute 30 cooldowns, which means I can't just spam out Storm, Earth, and Fire. I actually have to think about it a little bit more. But it also means that I'll get a lot more super empowered Crackling Jade Lightnings. But the thing to take with a grain of salt is that this is still the old tier set. So, not that I'm saying I'm going to beat these guys on damage. That's Caparino. I'm going to still probably be, like, awful damage overall for this dungeon. But if whatever it is, if the changes go through, it will be less. So that's kind of, it kind of sucks, right? Because PTR are meant to be testing out this new stuff, but they haven't implemented it. So I can't even like show you how the new, well, the apparent new one's gonna play out because they just won't implement it. Maybe they're struggling to do it. It is Storm, Earth, and Fire related, guys, and we know how Blizzard likes their interactions with Storm, Earth, and Fire. They never fucking work. They probably busted it somehow. Honest to God, they probably like they've done something crazy. Knowing them, we might get even lucky, right? And it might be so busted that they can't actually make the change. And if they can't make the change, then it stays how it is, and then thumbs up. Storm, Earth, and Fire spaghetti code. There's just too much spaghetti that they can't even do anything. And they're like, oh shit, we can't even make these changes. Like we want to do it, but we can't. Ah, just give them the 120 energy. Just go with that. I thought Monk buff was both physical and magic. No, Monk buff is purely physical. Which is actually, there's very limited specs that actually do like pure physical damage as well. Like even Windwalkers, we don't do pure physical damage, right? Like we do a lot of physical damage, but we actually do a lot of nature damage as well. You know what I mean? Like Slicing Winds, nature damage. Gale Force, nature damage. Empowered Tiger Lightning, you know, nature damage. So like, as I say, about 50% of our damage is, well, Probably like 70-30 actually, maybe 80-20 even. But basically we don't even get the full value from our thing because we don't do pure physical damage. It's like specs like Outlaw Rogue, they do pure physical, I'm pretty sure. Warrior. Feral Druid, question mark? Maybe not actually. No, they do bleeds. Yeah, but from what I've heard, they nerfed the Demon Hunter one to 3%, right? And why is everybody left? I'm in the wrong instance. They nerfed the Demon Hunter 1 to 3 and they buffed the Monk to 8, and I was reading somewhere that they're basically about on par with each other now. Which is crazy when you think about it, like 8 equals 3. Why is everybody in Stormheim? Stormheim, isn't that in... What? Why are they in Stormheim? Oh, go into the dungeon, you think there's an NPC. Help. You.
I live to serve.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I was so lost. Oh, I opened my map to try and have a look at Legion. I was like, why are these guys in Legion? Help. Help. Panic. Windwalker's going to be meta, or at least buff machine to an entire group, maybe. Well, it comes back to the argument of if Windwalker is not, like, it works like this, right, in a raid. If your spec gives a buff that no one else can give, you get a raid spot, right? But, unfortunately, like for Mage, for instance, a Mage will get a raid spot, right? A DPS Mage will always get a raid spot because you need that buff. A Monk buff can be on a tank, a healer, or a DPS. So if Windwalker isn't like how it was in Season 2, where it was the best, like pretty much the best damage in the game at the start of the tier, well, if it's mid-range, then there's a lot more of an argument that, or a lot less like, is it going to go on the healer? Is it going to go on the tank? I don't think Brewmaster will be taken. For raid anyway. Maybe for M+, I've heard like it's not too bad for M+, but for raid, maybe not quite there. Or there are better specs. So it's really, how's Mistweaver doing? Is Mistweaver good enough to take up the Monk raid spot to give the buff? And from what I've heard, it is. Which sucks a little bit. It really depends, like, what level you're raiding at, right? If you're just like casually raiding, or you're just going for CE or something, right? You're not like not going for Hall of Fame, or even if you're going like for Hall of Fame, but like later on Hall of Fame, maybe it's okay to take a Windwalker. But if you're like pushing like super high ranks and stuff, you are taking the best comp possible. And if Mistweaver is meta, and Windwalker is mid damage, you're going to take another spec that just does better damage, right? And just give the raid buff to Mistweaver. So it really depends. What level you're raiding at, I suppose. So like my previous guild, for instance, wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered at all. Take me, because I like to play the game. Hold on, I need to remember how you do this open up. So we do one more Tiger Palm, into a Rising Sun Kick, into a... Alright, now we're in Flurry Strike mode. So we want to get as many Flurry Strikes out as possible. Can we get another one? Can you get another one, please? Thank you. Why am I doing 0 damage? This is worse than Conduit. This is worse than fucking Conduit! Oh, wait, no, we're scaling. We're almost going to beat the tank. Hold up, we're almost going to beat the tank. Paladin tank in shambles right now. Haha, that was my burst window as well.
I require a target.
Fucking end me. Is he abusing the bug? No, he's not even abusing the bug. He's not even abusing the paladin bug. Okay. Okay. We have 20 stack Crackling Jade Lightning though, so we're gonna try do our best here to get as much value from this as possible. There we go. 20 stack Crackling Jade Lightning. That's gonna work wonders. But we dropped our stacks there because I didn't set it up very well, which is kind of cringe as well.
Invigorating fish
And as well as that, I probably should have waited for my Zoon as well, because I'm playing 1 minute 30, so another mistake. Classic. It shouldn't be too bad. It'll be about 30 seconds till I can use my cooldowns, but then I might as well have played it 2 minutes. I needed to hold there, to be realistic. Or, not fully send in my opener, just send 1 Storm Earth and Fire, which might have been smarter, actually. Don't worry, we're ramping, we're ramping. So we're 20 seconds off, which means we want to try set up. So we want to get to 180 energy spent before we fully send. So we're at 120. We have good stacks here. We're at 180. I don't really want to send here, but I'm going to have to. Oh, so cringe. The pack's dead. Pull into another pack. Oh, that feels so bad. I basically had to send there because I did the setup for it. Otherwise, I'm just not pressing buttons for at least 30 seconds. Oh, the setup's kind of annoying actually at times. Because unlike Conduit, yeah, where Conduit, if you have your cooldowns up but you don't want to send them, you can still send out a mini burst window. Like you can do that in Season 2, right? Whereas with Shadowpan, if you set up, you kind of have to send, or you have to do your setup again, and the setup can be a little bit awkward. Especially if you want it running for like as long as possible. So right now I'm 20 stacks, but I don't really want to send these without Zuin. So am I going to hold my Crackling Jade Lightning for 30 seconds? Am I? That sounds fucking illegal, I'll be honest. No, I'm not. I'm just going to send cooldowns without Zuin. I actually don't like this 1 minute 30 build. I think playing around 1 minute 30 is not good. Like, playing around 2 minutes felt better? Bro, these Murlocs are going to be so annoying in M+, because they all just run away. Like, what was that? They all just run away. Someone pulled this, by the way. Not me, I promise.
Invigorating fish stick. Invigorating fish stick.
Can you just vortex that? Wait, we don't have a vortex. So once again, I have my cooldowns, right? So I want to try build up to this. So I'm going to get to 180 energy, and then I'm not going to send another Tiger Palm. I'm literally going to wait for the next pack. So if I send out here, then I have to do the entire setup again at the start of this next pack, and that's just, it takes too long. I want to send straight away. That's why I prefer the 2 minutes. I feel like you focus a bit more on the burst window. It's kind of hard to explain. But right now, now we instantly send, we're at 20 stacks. And our damage, now we will do damage. Hopefully. If we don't do damage now, I don't know what to tell you. We dropped stacks. Oh, that's crazy. I dropped stacks there. Just not enough haste. And bear in mind, this is on 120 energy expend, not 150. Like, I dropped stacks on the perfect opener. I should have delayed the Tiger Palm a bit more, but I thought I'd have at least a bit more haste regen than nothing. Like, that's crazy to me. Remember when I said that should have done all my damage? Yeah. Remember that? Oh my god. Help! MMLRGG, MMLRGG. Oh, I wish you could change talent builds in M+ again. So I would go back to 2 minutes. I don't like how this is playing. I know I keep moaning about it. But actually, I'm not a big fan of,
Invigorating fish stick.
I'm not a massive fan of 1 minute 30 Shadow Pan anymore. Not only that, it was also trinket based as well. So I'm having to use the Lily trinket, which gives mastery. And mastery is not bad, but I'd much prefer to be using the 2-minute agility trinket, which kind of worked with our... Uh-oh, I've angered the Guardian. Basically, it kind of complements the set. I mean, we're beating tank. We are doing more than tanks now, but I'm just not impressed by this at all. Oh. What's the hunter's damage? It's all stampede. This has to be broken, right? Shaman makes sense. Shaman Tempest, that's fine. But he's just all the damage comes from stampede. Like all the damage. Maybe it's just a details bug. Alright, so at 120 energy here, we're gonna try set up for our single target opener. You have to be a bit more lenient on when I expend. Oh. Oh, and once again, it dropped. I just don't have enough haste to keep this up. I even held there for a bit. So I want to Crackling Jade Lightning these ads, but I kind of, at the same time, want to make sure I have the against all odd stacks. And it doesn't hit all of them. Okay. Oh, top left. Hey, get off my thing. On the plus side, we've learned how to do this boss. I have no idea where all this damage comes from, though. He does, like, a massive, like, huge amount of damage. That I can't quite work out. This guy got a mechanic on him. Get the fuck away from me. Whoa! No, don't come back here. Yeah. You crackhead. Oh, I don't even get lightning here, do I? Like this, whatever he's doing right now really hurts. Maybe I need to stop hitting the boss or something? I probably should read the adventure guide, but... No. I'm going to send a single Crackling Jade Lightning here, because otherwise I'm going to be holding it for about a minute. That's not good. And we should be able to keep up stacks here. Come on, one more Tiger Palm. Alright, we at least kept up stacks for a change. At least that's nice. Where am I going? Fish sticks do 0 healing now. That's one of the Murloc abilities, right? Is that good? Do we like that? Did it do a lot of healing before? I've only really been able to do this dungeon today. I haven't been able to really test much on the PTR. Dungeon wise, I was able to test out the new dungeon the other week, which I kind of liked, actually. I thought the new dungeon was pretty good. I think they've done pretty decently with the new dungeons. This like Operation Floodgate. I know we've all run it a lot, but it's actually a good dungeon as dungeons go, like a choose your own path sort of dungeon. The new one's definitely more linear, but I don't mind it. I actually kind of like the new dungeon. I think it's I think the boss fights are kind of cool. I think the second boss kind of doesn't do anything. The last boss is kind of crazy, and the first boss where he sucks you in, that's kind of fun as well. I think it's like a greatest dungeon of all time. Why am I NPC walking? Alright, we have big coolies here. We are going to pop off. If we don't pop off here, we never pop off again in our entire lives. This is it. This is your moment. You're gonna capture it. Guys, I'm not... Why am I not popping off? Holy fuck, Shadow Pan is so fucked. I don't even know, like... I'm trying to find the positive in it. That was a full Crackling Jade Lightning with the perfect opener, keeping up the 20 stacks at all times, and it just did nothing. Like, I just did absolutely nothing.
Apologies, Captain.
Obviously, Flurry Strike, my Shadow Flurry Strike's procced last, and that is a huge amount of your damage. Like, that's just... You gotta get lucky on that side. Which is another thing I really hate. I hate that you have to get lucky with when you proc your Shadow Flurry Strikes in a full. And I've heard the argument that it doesn't matter. It 100% matters. I will die on this hill. That if you do not proc Shadow, like, initially in your big burst window, you're cooked. You are genuinely cooked. Because all the Flurry Strike damage is coming from the Shadow proc. Like if you proc like Shadow as your 4th one on the wall cycle during your big opener, you've essentially done 4 less Shadow damage burst windows, and that's where all your Flurry Strike damage comes from. I will die on that hill. Like I've tested target dummies with it, and the difference is immense. And like that is horrible RNG, right? Like you do not want your RNG, like your damage on a big pull, being decided about when you proc Shadow Flurry Strikes, right? Like that sounds horrible, but it's a thing. Before it didn't matter in season 2 because you never really like procced multiple like Flurry Strikes one after another. Really, it was really hard to do. But now the entire gimmick is to send out as many Flurry Strikes as possible. Once again, we're gonna cess up here. So once again, I haven't proc Shadow yet. Is it going to be my 4th? Oh, we finally proc Shadow, but you can see the ad's almost dead, right? So I proc Shadow by the time the ad's almost dead. Well, how much damage has my Flurry Strikes done? Nothing. Like, literally nothing. If I procced it first, and I got, like, 3 or 4 applications of it there, that would have been sick. That would have been really cool. With Conduit, you don't have that. Like, it's just another thing that I'm not... Yeah, it just feels bad. Oh, actually, those chains were good. They pulled me out of the fire. W changed. Didn't get a Shadow proc until halfway through Rip. I really want them to change Wisdom of the Wall. Windwalker doesn't need RNG. Yeah, I think it didn't matter so much in the previous seasons. Like it didn't matter too much. Like it didn't matter in season 2 for a start because you barely played Shadow Pan in the raid, right? And in dungeons where you did play Shadow Pan, like Flurry Strikes already Flurry Strikes did no damage, right? Like Flurry Strikes was like basically like a fake passive. In season 2 it did nothing, but now like Flurry Strikes is meant to be where all your damage is coming from, or at least like a good portion of your damage. So if you don't get a good Shadow proc, that feels horrendous. And if I wanted to play an RNG spec, I would play Shaman. I would be playing Enhancement Shaman right now. Yeah, just another thing to note with Shadow Pan that just feels pretty bad about it. I don't really know what I'm saving cooldowns here for. In fact, I'm just gonna send. But you can see this is like a predominantly single target fight. I will get so much more damage out with Conduit in this. It's not too bad when the Brutes arrive and you're actually getting Flurry Strikes out. It's like on the raid encounters, right? There's a lot of raid encounters kind of like this, where they spawn intermittent adds. And intermittent adds are actually really good for Shadow Pan. Like, Shadow Pan will be stronger with intermittent adds. But you have to have the right timings for it. Like, timings are so important for intermittent ad spawns. Oh! Well, we got further than the last dungeon. Yeah, you can see my Flurry Strikes overall in this dungeon so far are kind of low. Like, 9% is actually pretty weak. I would expect them to just be higher up, like, at least competing with Fist of Fury or something. And Crackling Jade Lightning is also horrendously low as well. I'm not a fan. Oh well. Oh well. I feel like this stream's just been me complaining. I usually don't complain that much at all. If ever. Well, unless I'm doing Mythic Plus and I'm losing my mind. I don't complain about my spec, is what I'm trying to say. I never complain about Windwalker. But I'm just getting a bad taste. Just a bad taste all around. So I love this spec, right? It's my favorite spec. Obviously, made a channel about Windwalker. Yeah, I kind of enjoy it. So, and like even in Nurabal Palace, I didn't mind it too much. We were bottom of everything, right? But like it didn't matter because I thought it was in a good space. I just feel like Shadowpan especially just feels like I just don't know. I don't think they know what they're doing with it. Okay, we got Shadow first. This is going to be a good example, actually. No, it's not. Is it? Not really. But you can see instantly 10 million off the bat. And then now every Flurry Strikes after this, we're proccing big damage. And wow, what's that? All of a sudden I'm topping the meters. Well, that's because I proc Flurry Strikes. Wow, cool. But like, there's a massive difference. Like, when I say a massive difference, like, this is the best example. And I didn't even play this this pack very well. But you can see, I'm finally winning on a pack. Well, why is that? Because I activated Flurry Strikes instantly. I got lucky on my Wisdom proc. It was the first one, so then every what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, every Flurry Strikes after that has been a procced one. And obviously, I've fallen off a little bit now, but if I'd managed to play that better, I would have absolutely annihilated them. But you kind of get the point I'm trying to get across, is that Flurry Strikes damage is so vital that you proc Shadow first. And it is RNG.
Drifting star. Reinvigorate.
It's funny because this feels like it should be a Shadowpan dungeon, in the sense that there's a lot of trash, right? A lot of big packs of trash. So in my mind, when I think where would Shadowpan be good, I'd think something like with the changes and all that, I'd think somewhere like Cinderbrew Meadery. Well, this is very similar in that, like, add density. So, like, because Flurry Strikes is uncapped AoE, is the point I'm trying to get across. So in my mind, like, this should be insane for it. It feels like Conduit's stronger. Once again, we've propped a early Flurry Strikes, so now we are going sicko mode on the ads. I have no idea what this boss does. Thoughts? I have no idea what this boss does. It's shooting out stars? Do I just pop a defensive and let everybody else deal with it? That's probably bad practice. Did we stand in that? I feel like standing in that is a death sentence. Oh, okay. No, that's fine. It's just assassins spawning. Alright, we're gonna... Can I get one more? Oh, that's not bad, actually. That was a good Crackling Jade Lightning. We got that fully off. Okay, there are stars on the floor. What the fuck does this mean? I'm gonna stand on this one. Why am I stood in here? Oh, wait, this... Wait, what the fuck is going on? Did we win? Did we do it? What was that? Yo, why is this boss at full health again? Ooh! Okay, this makes sense. Tanking it at the sides because all of these lines are coming in. That's smart. Oh, that's terrifying. This is kind of a cool boss, actually. I don't remember ever really doing this boss in Shadowlands. I don't really play Shadowlands, to be honest. Pretty cool, though. Hey, thank you for the follow, Side Ami. Well, I'm going to say I wasn't in that. No, I just popped Storm Earth and Fire! Oh god, pick a circle, pick a circle, any circle. Wait, who's targeting me? Did we win? What the fuck is going on? Oh my god, what is going on? Kill the stars with the lines. Yeah, I kind of got that. I just didn't know where the lines were spawning from. But it looks like they spawn from the other stars? Yo, why are you going in? Oh, is this like, what's his name? Oh! No! Oh, why'd I run that way? Guys, understand, I'm playing on 150 ping. That's the reason that I keep getting hit by these mechanics. It's not because I'm bad. Right? I pop my cooldowns, I'm not moving out. Why didn't Karma protect me? This game, dude. This game's cooked.
The first ones hate these artifacts with good reason.
Alright, I'm going to ignore the Hunter damage here. Because in my mind, Hunter is bugged. And that like, look at this, right? Stampede. I don't know. This seems gnarly. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just that actually that's saying it looks like it's bugged. Maybe that is normal. Anyway, ignore the Hunter damage. Pretend the Hunter doesn't exist. If we're just looking at Shaman and we're looking at Windwalker, yeah, it's not looking good, right? I'm not saying I do more damage than this on live, sir. Oh, no, no, no. I'm so underwhelmed with the Flurry Strike damage, though. I think, like, honestly, I'm going to say this is a player diffie than a spec diffie. I think I played this dungeon horrendously. To be honest, like, I don't think with this lowdown in M+ right now, I genuinely think that was just me being absolutely garbage tier. In this dungeon, like the amount of times I messed up with the 1 minute 30 cooldowns. To be honest, I don't like it. I'm not a massive fan of this 1 minute 30. I'm gonna try Shadow Pan again because I get Conduit. I know how to play Conduit in an M+ dungeon, like even with the changes and stuff, and I think it holds up. I think Conduit will be about the same as it was last year. Nothing special, nothing remarkable, but not like dog. I think Windwalker is going to be like what it was last year if things go ahead. You know how, like, at the Keystone levels of, like, you know, 10 and 12 and stuff, Windwalker is actually really good, and pretty good, but the higher you get, the worse it just becomes. Like, Windwalker is one of those specs that's just really good when ads die at the right time, but the longer the trash pack stays up, like, basically, we need the trash packs to not last too long for us to do good damage. And that's been like a thing for a while now. So the higher you go up in M+, the longer the trash packs live, right? So ramping classes, they love that shit. Classes that do really good consistent damage, they love that shit. I feel like we suffer a bit with that. And I can see it being the same. Not a fan of this build, though. I would prefer to play this one, because I kind of like Fist of Fury. I like being able to reset it with Rising Sun Kick. Similar to how you play Conduit at the moment. 2 minutes as well. I really love this trinket. It's called Eras's Ritual Forge, and it basically gives you an insane amount of agility instantly that decays over 30 seconds. But, like, agility's really good for Shadow Pan. It's also good for Conduit, to be honest with you. But it's really good for Shadow Pan because against all odds gives you agility as well, right? So you're basically stacking tons of agility in your big burst windows. What's that? You proc to Shadow Flurry Strike as your first one. Well, suddenly your Shadow Flurry Strikes are all doing fucking 100,000 more damage from your agility, and it's crazy, and wow, you're top of the meters. Yeah? That's the idea anyway. Just give us a Shadow proc when we pop Zoo, and I think we're fine. Yeah, I think... especially if they're nerfing this in this way, I think if they could... I think I'd keep the second part where you have like Storm, Earth, and Fire generate, like, reduce the energy spent. That'd be good. But maybe like change the first part to be like a manipulation of Wisdom of the Wall, right? So like the next time you Storm, Earth, and Fire, you will shadow proc. Like your next Wisdom of the Wall buff will be a shadow proc, and that way you can guarantee it. Because I keep going on about it, but I cannot understate how important it is for Flurry Strikes to actually do damage. It's from the Shadow one. And there's the argument that, okay, these other buffs are good as well. And they are good, right? You know, getting more mastery, getting more crit, getting more dodge, lol. But like, they will just buff the Shadow one even more, right? Like, you are praying for this Shadow proc. Like, I made a drawing of it. No, it was an awful drawing, actually. I won't get it out. But, like, think about it this way. If you proc Shadow... Let's say you are going for a double Storm, Earth, and Fire, right? You're going for a double Storm, Earth, and Fire set. So essentially, let's say you shoot out 8 Flurry Strikes in this set. Let's say, like, I don't know, control environment. If your first Flurry Strike is just Shadow, you are then sending out 7 Shadow Flurry Strikes. If your fourth one is a Shadow, you are sending out 4 Shadow Flurry Strikes, right? 3 doesn't sound like much. Like, it's not, like, a big number, but it actually makes a big difference. It does make a big difference. But I think there's other fundamental issues that are going to be worrying with Shadowpan as well. It's not just the Flurry Strike thing. That's just cooked into it. I'm just worried about this 150 energy. Because there's no way you're ever keeping uptime on the buff. And if you're not keeping uptime on this 20% agility buff, then why are you even playing Shadowpan? Like, the entire point feels to be keeping this up. And if that's not possible, which it won't be in a lot of situations, maybe during Lust you'll be able to do it, but outside of Lust, good luck. So then you're constantly at 10, and if you're constantly at 10, well, you're basically playing Season 2, Windwalker, Shadowpan, except you can Flurry Strike a bit more often, I guess, I suppose. We've had a load of followers today. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate it. That's really, really kind of you. Usually I shout out, but there's just too many of you. That I'm going to group you all into one. Thank you all for following. I really appreciate it. Very kind that you listen to me sat here moaning about Windwalker. If this is your first time watching this, I don't moan that often. I'm just worried for the spec, is all. I'm not, like... Maybe not worried. Like, I don't need us to be the best spec, right? Like, I don't think Windwalker has to be the best spec, but I think what you want with a spec is you want, like, I always say fun, and that, like, is fun, like, equal to actually good? Not usually, but if your spec is enjoyable and it works well, like, the tier set makes sense and it all, like, flows together well, then even if you're not doing the top damage, you're at least I'm, like, playing the game, there's rhythm to it, I prefer this to another spec. If it feels clunky, which Shadowpan kind of feels like, and it looks like it's going to go towards, then you're like, why would I even play this spec? Like, this is too clunky for me to even, like, want to play. I'd rather go play my Hunter that actually does damage, right? So, I don't know. Like a Season 1 Windwalker is a great example, right? We were shit, but I loved it because I think it all flowed well. Except for Conduit. Conduit was a bit of a mess. But even then, it wasn't, like, Shadowpan actually played pretty well. It just feels like the initial tier set makes sense, but the changes they're going to do kind of don't work, and there's some issues, fundamental issues with Wisdom of the Wall and the ordering. It's a little bit worrying. But anyway, enough crying. We're going to go the 2 minutes version now, which I've played a lot in Raid, so I'm a bit more familiar with it. It means that I'm able to actually use Storm, Earth, and Fire outside of major cooldowns. I basically play it in a way that, in my opener, if the pack's big, I will send out double Storm, Earth, and Fire to get this massive opener, and then send out a Storm, Earth, and Fire outside of my 2 minutes, and then basically one with 2 minutes every time, one outside of 2 minutes, one with 2 minutes, one outside of 2 minutes. And I try to line it up with Crackling Jade Lightning. The idea is to try and get a mega Crackling Jade Lightning off whenever possible, right? Whenever I can get 20 stacks, I want to try and have a Storm, Earth, and Fire up for it, so that I can then expend it with the extra agility buff and stuff. That's the idea. I was trying to do it in the last dungeon, but I feel like the 1 minute 30s kind of threw me off a little bit. Maybe it's just an excuse, I don't know. Do you think they're trying to make high impact somewhat viable instead of a leveling node? That's this one, isn't it?
5, 4.
I feel like you'd have to have such big, like, I feel like you'd have to have so much trash for that to, like, be worth it. Because it's only 135,000, right? I mean, it is to everything around. I feel like there's got to be a break point of how many ads you're fighting in a dungeon. I haven't tested it, though. Okay, we are doing this crazy pull again. Good luck. I'm going to have to try to do my build up here. I probably should have done this already. We got Shadow first. GG. I'm about to blast off. Hello, can I hit something? Oh, it turned out I couldn't hit any... Hello? Can I hit something? So it turns out I am kind of stupid in the head and just didn't hit anything. So... I just wasn't hitting anything. Oh, it was the perfect opener, and I couldn't find my target. Guys, please. But look, wow, what did all my damage that pull? Wow, what did all my damage on this pull? Oh, was it Flurry Strikes, which I instantly popped? Wow, that's crazy. that's fucking ludicrous. Wow, insane. Like, nothing even competes with that. Like, Fist of Fury, like, half of its damage. So I got it first. So now we want to... Now we have the Crackling Jade Lightning. So we want to get to 180 energy. And now we're going to expend everything. Try to get all of these targets in there. We get another one off. Nice. But then we didn't get the Shadow Flurry Strikes this time, so a little bit less damage on the Flurry Strike side of things. But I'll forgive it. I'll forgive it because it gave me the perfect one on my opener. This already feels way better to play than the 1 minute 30 version. Uh-oh. So we're going into cooldowns-ish. I'm going to delay my 2 minutes, actually. Am I? Where are these packs going? Right, I'm not delaying, because I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Where did those beasts just run off to? Well, they're all back now. What was that? Alright, that wasn't too bad. But once again, I can already tell that we proc Shadow pretty late on, just from how many seconds it has left. It wasn't too bad. I needed more trash there. Potentially I should have held 2 minutes for this. Which probably arguably is better. I should have just kind of flopped off that pack. Okay, so what's going on over here? I'm going to pop a defensive because I have no idea what's going on. This guy's collecting our sins. What does he mean, collecting my sins? Does he know what I did last summer? Sorry, that's a pretty old movie reference. We're all Zoomers here, right? We all go on the TikToks, yeah? We don't, yeah. I'm just gonna shut up. Yeah, I go on the TikToks. So I was sending lightning out here. I was basically waiting to get a proc of at least my thingy. I probably should have sent out the Storm Earth and Fire as well. Now damage isn't looking great, but I promise you it's actually okay. Like, I'm feeling a lot more positive about this one than the last dungeon. Flurry Strikes is in its natural place at the top. Don't proc Shadow. Okay, we're in a really good spot now as well. Because the next pack, we're guaranteed to proc Shadow in our first 2. That's another thing that really sucks. If I proc Shadow there, I then guarantee I don't get Shadow again for my next 4. You know what I mean? Right, like, that really fucking sucks. I got lucky, though. You gotta get lucky in these things. So we're going to have a big pull here. I do need to do some setup. That's okay. Oh, we're going to have everything, actually. I'm just going to send now. Oh, it's beautiful. I won't get another one off here. When I say another one, I'm talking about, like, I'm literally just looking... I spend half my time looking at this little fist icon, because I'm trying to keep up the stacks at 20. So when I'm saying I can't get another one off, I'm basically just referring to that, where I know it's not possible for me to get 2 Tiger Palms within the next window. That wasn't bad. All Flurry Strikes again. Like, the difference between getting Flurry Strikes and not is insane. What we doing? Flurry Strikes doesn't have a cap. Shadow Flurry Strikes doesn't. So Shadow Flurry Strikes will hit as many targets as possible within 6 meters. What's the game working? 6 units. Yeah, essentially, yes. Shadow Flurry Strikes is uncapped AoE. Which is why I went into this PTR thinking that this was going to be insane. Like, ludicrously insane. Not as crazy as I thought it was going to be. Alright, we'll pop this, and then we'll send the lightning. And it double propped because PTR, so the lightning did nothing. Cool, cool, cool. I'm doing less than tank damage, help! Oh, less than tank? That's not... Oh, we're beating the tank, never mind. Ignore me. Fire Strikes did nothing there, though. I kind of got a bit screwed there by Crackling Jade Lightning, like, cancelling itself. It's a weird thing on the PTR, where if I press Crackling Jade Lightning, sometimes it double inputs it, and obviously that cancels the first one. It's only a minor thing, but obviously it just means that I don't get the Crackling Jade Lightning damage. It sometimes happens with Tiger Palm as well, where I press, like, Tiger Palm, you see a double Tiger Palm come up, and then I moan about it. Classic. Okay, we're gonna send everything here. I need to do setup again. Oh. We're going here. Help! We're not... Yeah, I messed up my stacks there. It's okay, though. We are on Shadow at least. At least that. We get another Flurry Strikes off? Ah, not quite in the window. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh. So, like, I'll be the first one to admit, I mess this up. I'm, like, mess up a lot with, trying to make sure I keep my Flurry Strikes up. Like, it's a fun mini-game in the sense of how it works, and when it works, it's really good. But when, like, you mess it up, and it is quite easy to scuff it up, it just feels awful. So then I just think to myself, well, I've just literally lost all this damage during my burst window, so I wasn't able to keep up my 20 stacks here. Like, what I ended up doing there is I didn't accidentally. I, on purpose, started with 120 energy when I wanted to start with 180, which left me on a 60 energy deficit for going into my next cycle. And I Fist of Furied. And pressing Fist of Fury was my error. Nope. Oh, no, wasn't me! It was me. I'm just gonna die. I should have spatial rifted sideways. I wish they made Tiger Palm unparryable. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it sends me off the deep end. Yeah, it's annoying because it can happen, and in Raid, it's the worst thing. And what you used to be able to do is you could literally Crackling Jade Lightning, like for a split second, and that would be able to like reset your damage, right? So that's how I negated it in Season 1 at least. But unfortunately, a lot of the time you now actually use Crackling Jade Lightning. So it doesn't quite work out as well anymore. So sometimes you do just have to double Tiger Palm. But I know what you mean. I don't think it really happens too much in dungeons, but on raid bosses, oh my god, it fucking sucks. I don't really remember what you do on this boss. Am I doing good? Ah! Ah! Oh, good lord. Oh god, he turns! Bro just hit me with the Uno reverse. He just... Uh-oh, this hurts. That hurts a bit. Right, I kind of get it. You don't want to mess up the floor too much so that you can actually run around. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to play on this side because there's not much going on this side. A lust? In this economy? Whew. Okay, this boss is kind of chill, actually. Mostly because I haven't gotten a single mechanic. I'm just vibing. Ow. Damage is mostly, like, single target's still not too bad. It's nothing special. But it's actually not too bad on this boss. I thought it'd be a lot worse. And then we're going to have we basically have everything. In fact, what I can try to do is I can try to get a little bit more chi for a bit of a setup. So I'm on 77 now, which is a bit of a weird number, and that's because I've used Vivify. Vivify gives you expends energy, so now I'm actually on a really weird number going into a lot of things because of that. Oh well. So I want to pop one more time. This is not many ads, but that's life, baby. Sometimes you don't get the pack you want. Oh! Flurry strikes? Yeah, all flurry strikes. Once again, we got Shadow pretty early on there. I remember, I feel like back in the day, didn't you used to stealth this? You used to like, yes, you did, didn't you? You used to like, you used to stealth this entire bit. You just run through it. I don't know if you needed a rogue. I just have this memory because I played a rogue in Shadowlands that I used to like basically have to take my group all the way to the boss. And then if you wiped on the boss, GG. Just don't. Oh, we've angered the Horde! Oh, we've really angered the Horde, actually.
Curse of obliteration.
Oh my god. Oh my god! I could have done with some flurry strikes on this pack. Unfortunately, I got none. Oh, tank dead. Yeah, that was a bit of a pull. I don't know if they triggered, because it didn't look like they were targeting anyone when they spawned. Now that you can stack 20% agility, is there a base percentage for haste that you can maintain 20% during clones? Not that I'm aware of, right? Like, the theory testing has only really just started for Windwalker, and like, I'm not a theory crafter myself, right? I just eat what they cook. Like, I do a little bit of messing around in PTR, but nothing like numbers and stuff like that. But I can see, like, even for Conduit, I'm pretty certain that haste is getting a bit more like of a focus. Like, I'm pretty certain of this. I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it. Oh. Diffuse magic does not remove these curses, by the way, which is kind of sucks. Don't you love it when they give us an ability called diffuse magic and then it doesn't diffuse magic? That's kind of crazy, right? My favorite is when the ability says that it reflects magical things and then it doesn't reflect them. That's also pretty fun. Come on, proc Shadow. No, please, proc Shadow. I'm begging you. He's proc Shadow. Alright, well, Shadow was the only one we didn't proc. Okay. Okay, then. Hey, we got Shadow right when I really don't need it. Yeah. The more I play Shadowpan, the more that would be my biggest request. Would be... Like, even for single target, like, don't underestimate how much damage, like the Shadow Flurry Strikes will do in single target as well. Like, obviously nowhere near as much as AoE. But if they, like, want... Well, hard want, right? If they want, like, Shadowpan to be competitive in AoE, I feel like this RNG factor is just too much. I mean, there's the argument, well, you should be really min-maxing this and making sure that you're constantly, like, sorting it yourself for in between each pull and pack and stuff like that. That should never be a thing. I refuse. Oh, go on. Okay, we got Shadow. So this is where we pop off now, right? Yeah, this is where we go sicko mode. Oh wow, I'm doing damage again. That's kind of crazy, right? That's low-key kind of... It's low-key kind of crazy. Oh, man. Should we check where all the damage came from? Wow. Flurry Strike. Alright, I genuinely... I feel like a stuck record. I'm just going to stop going on about Flurry Strike. Generally speaking, though, like... First off, I'm much more enjoying this 2-minute version of Shadowpan compared to the 1 minute 30. I think it allows me to do a lot more of these, oh, what am I going to call them? Like, mini Storm, Earth, and Fire windows? Is that, is that what I'm going to call it? Also, what the fuck are these groundskeepers and why have they all run around? Okay, we pulled the entire dungeon. That's kind of cool. But yeah, no, like, these mini... Okay, these mini Storm, Earth, and Fire windows, like, feel a lot better. Whereas with 1 minute 30 Shadowpan, it kind of feels like I don't get many of those, so I'm basically trying to save everything up for my 1 minute 30 cooldowns, and that can mean, like, it's like holding a Crackling Jade Lightning at 20 stacks, right? Because I want to get the most value out of it. And that feels awful, and you probably want to send it regardless. You probably don't want to hold it, but it feels awful not to hold it. Like, it's weird. It's like, it feels awful to hold it, but it feels awful not to hold it, right? If you hold it, then at least you're getting its full potential. But if you don't hold it, well, then you're not sending out a Crackling Jade Lightning on full stacks. Whereas with this one, anytime it gets to 20, I can pretty much always guarantee I'll get it sent out with damage multipliers on it. Very similar to Season 2, so I much prefer this build. Even if it's not, like, the strongest build on paper, just playstyle-wise, I prefer it. I'm going to let it reset, because this is kind of a scary corridor. If you don't use your clones back-to-back, your haste is enough. Yeah, generally, yeah. I'm finding that a lot of the time I'm not using my clones back-to-back, unless it's in, like, an opener or something. Which usually, if you're, like, doing, like, a big pull or something, like your opening pull or whatever, you probably have Lust, and Lust will help carry you through. But generally, I'm kind of not sending both Storm and Fires together. I used to do that when the PTR started. I did that a lot. I would send them both together. But I think actually trying to get the value from Crackling Jade Lightning, and also trying to just keep damage, like, rolling with separate Storm, Earth, and Fires actually feels pretty good. My tank just got battered. I have no idea why it just sent out a thing there. I think my Windwalker cook. Can we get one more? Give me one more, please. At least that. So I should be able to now keep it rolling. Yeah, we can keep it rolling. I have no idea what's going on. Shit, what does this boss do? What does this boss do again? He summons wolves? Is that crazy? Is that... Looks like Windwalker's doing brew damage. Or is brew doing Windwalker damage? Which is worse? Oh, I remember. You have to crush all of these with that mechanic, right? Yes. Oh, yes, because... Yes, okay, now it's starting to make sense. He summons all of these goons. He summons the boys. I'm just trying to get as much flurry strike damage as possible here. I'm just kind of padding a little bit. Don't mind me. And then they turn into stone, right? And then you crush their stone formers with his jump. Yeah. Save me, I'm stone! Okay. But this is a great example of an intermittent ad spawn fight, right? Which in the raid, I think, is where you'll be playing Shadowpan, if all things go well. And this is like a great example of this, because it's an intermittent ad boss fight, and it just suits Shadowpan really well. Especially with like flurry strikes and stuff. Crackling Jade Lightning as well, also really liked it. Oh god, what do I do? Help! Help! I think I did well. I'm gonna say I did well there. So now we have everything. No, I'm just gonna wait for the next cycle. I'll be fine. So we're at 98 energy right now. This feeling so cooked. I feel like this is broken. Alright, he's gonna send out the ads now. So now I want to hold for just a sec. Is that a crazy thing to do? Where are the ads? Summon your ads, bitch. I want a pad. There we go. And now we pad on the ads. Come on, one shadow. One shadow. Come on, for daddy. Do it. You fucking stupid game. No. Oh, give me a shadow. Oh. It's good to see Crackling Jade Lightning doing some damage again. Good times. Pretty chill boss fight. It's funny when you play a dungeon that you haven't played in like literal years, and you're trying to remember what bosses actually do, and like you remember bits and pieces of it. Like I remembered like I don't even know why I remembered something with a wall there. There was nothing to do with a wall there at all. I false memoried it. But the moment those like little gremlins came out and I saw the circle, I remembered, these guys turn into statues. The next boss though, couldn't tell you. I don't even think the next boss existed in Shadowlands. I've never heard of High Adjudicator Ale. They've added him. Special new boss for the season. My source, trust me, bro. I do remember this hallway, though. I remember this hallway being the bane of my team's, like endeavors. I remember we always suffered here. I, just have memories of the camera angle being atrocious and constantly having to run back in here over and over and over and over again. Hopefully not next season, though. Is High Adjudicator Ale the dude that's in the church, and he's just sat there and he's, like, sucking off all of his, all of the churchgoers? They're all sat in their little chairs, and he's, like, sucking their souls out and shit. Is that the boss? I swear that was the mini-boss, though, no? Bro, I'm so lost. These waystones are good, though. I like waystones. Good addition. Are we going to be running slicing in Season 3? If you play Conduit, 1,000,000%, you have to, because it works with our tier set. If you play Shadowpan, potentially. I've played some builds with slicing, but I think that you probably don't have to. I think the slicing build is actually not as good, just from like initial testing. But with Conduit, yeah, you will have to. Unfortunately. So if you don't like it, it's just how it is. But if you don't play it for Conduit, you are basically not running a set piece, right? So there'll be like no compromise there. But with Shadow Pan, I think you'll be able to get away without having to play it. I'm worried, right? Hopefully we get good tuning. Right now we're just lower than everyone. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe as well, right? Like, I feel like I'm playing this dungeon a lot better than... Oh, this is the boss. Okay. Like, I feel like I'm playing this dungeon a lot better than I played the last one. But even now, my damage is like... Where is it, bro? like, where's my damage, bro? Oh, shit. What do I do with you? I'm going to put him behind this canister. It's behind canisters, right? Oh! Who put the fireballs here? You fucked me! To be fair, I probably should have gone for a different canister, though. Where's my res? Oh, we don't have res. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so I probably should have gone to a different canister, not the one the boss was under. That was a little bit troll. The fireballs were there, but I couldn't move. I had to stand still to get the ghost in, and I tried to roll at the last second, but it was a bit slow. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm technically playing right now. This is real Windwalker damage. Don't worry about it too much. Like, I think this is more accurate as well compared to the last dungeon. With Fist of Furies first and then Flurry Strikes second. This is what I was expecting to see on that last dungeon. But Flurry Strikes was super low in that first one. This looks a lot more like similar to, like, target dummy testing and stuff. Spinning Crane Kick, not as high as it used to be, but that's fine. Crackling Jade Lightning, yeah, it's also not, like, amazing. But you're basically being carried by Fist of Fury and Flurry Strikes with this. Which is fine, I think. But it just means that it just goes back to the argument of if Flurry Strikes is so fundamental, it feels awful if you don't get good Flurry Strike, like Wisdom of the Wall ordering. Like, because that's the difference between Flurry Strikes doing, like, a ton of your damage and Flurry Strikes not. And then it's back to the argument of, well, why would I go for the RNG when I can just play Conduit? It's like Shaman. I hear Shamans talking about their tier set, and their tier set is basically RNG if they get a proc on one of their massive abilities, and that just sounds horrible. And then I thought to myself, wait, that's literally what I'm doing right now. Hold up, I'm trying to get RNG on my Shadow proc. Alright. What the fuck is this? There's something underneath me. Oh, fireball! Not again! Also, something to know, if you like... I mean, I said it a little bit earlier. If you Vivify at any point... Can you come here faster? Get in here. If you Vivify at any point, like, throughout the fight, it completely throws your numbers off. So obviously Vivify costs energy, so it counts towards, like... It counts towards it, so I'm, like, on really weird numbers right now. Like, I'm on 58 energy spent. 178. Like, it makes the numbers actually really awkward to deal with. So don't heal yourself. Ever. Nah, that's cap. Actually, that's really bad advice. Definitely heal yourself. Oh, wait, you're on me! Oh, shit. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, it's a little bit like, a little bit awkward at times. To tell exactly, like, how close you are and stuff. Maybe just me. Maybe because I'm just awful with numbers. I have a bad circle on me. I probably don't want to run on my team with that. Probably didn't want to run on them with that. This boss kind of slapping, though, no? Couldn't you get a friendly gargoyle into the boss? I remember that. Oh, you probably could. That was when, yeah, that was a... Oh, what they called? Venthia? That was like a Venthia power, wasn't it? You could have, like, you could get friends during this... Yeah, when all the dungeons had, like, special things based on your, Covenant? They were Covenants, right? Yeah, because I remember all the, So what was I? I was, what they call the fairies. I was like a fairy boy, and I just got like, I got like the Mr. Turner Scythe one. You get a spawn point. Good job. And then you do other dungeons like this, and it's like, you get an ally that does damage. I know which one I'd choose. You want spawn points, or you want big ally? What am I doing on the PTR? Playing with Doom Spec? I'm having a good time. It's not doomed. I'll be okay. I don't think it's like... It's not dead in the water. Is it cope to say that I think it might be one of those situations where my stats just need rebalancing to sort everything out? Is that like cope? That sounds like genuine thought process to me. Run! Run, you Volpera! Might be a little cope. No. Ah, that's unlucky. He was a little bit too slow there. If only they could bring us back Bone Dust Brew, we would at least do some damage in AoE. I think the issue of Bone Dust Brew player left. That's alright. I'll find a new group. I played with these guys for a little bit. I find a cheeky new group. Yeah, well, the issue of Bone Dust Brew is absolutely absurdly broken in Shadowlands, and then they brought it back for Dragonflight where it sucked. I mean, it was okay, right? But it wasn't like what it was, and then it was just so underutilized that it just got removed, right? But that was... Like, Shadowlands was a time where Windwalker essentially, like... A class should never be breaking their mastery to do damage, right? If you, like, think about it, like, if you can... Like, if you're the entire point of your, like, spec is to, like, not press the same ability in a 2 times in a row, and then you're pressing that ability 2 times in a row, and it's the best thing for you to do, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. Potentially they could bring, like, the Dragonflight version back. I mean, that's the only version I really played with, because I don't play Windwalker in Shadowlands.
I understand your frustration,
I think it was okay. I forget what it did. It was nowhere near as strong, right? It just reduced the chi cost of spinning Crane Kick, if I'm correct. Something along those lines. Like, I remember using it on some bosses, but it wasn't that great. Shadowlands 2 Windwalker was peak. Yeah, it was so peak that they gutted us from there on. So, all you dirty Windwalker abusers in Season 2 Shadowlands, see what you've done. This is what we become, because you couldn't contain yourselves. You just had to press that spinning Crane Kick button, didn't you? You just couldn't not press it 2 times in a row. Nah, I joke. So, like... Once again, Stampede. I'm pretty sure Stampede is busted. I'm pretty sure... Right, hear me out. I'm pretty sure Hunter's getting nerfed, so don't even, like, take this into consideration. I'm actually okay with rogues doing a lot of damage, because I think rogues are in a position where they fucking suck. So I'm okay with rogues doing damage. This is just rough though, isn't it? Like, and this is like good damage breakdown. Like I'm not saying I played this dungeon well, but this is how I want my damage to be broken down, with Flurry Strikes carrying. This means that I got good Flurry Strikes procs more or less throughout the dungeon. Like, I got Shadow procs pretty consistently on packs where I needed it, so that's good. Fist of Fury, good damage. Spinning Crane Kick. Spinning Crane Kick's a little bit low, but it just can't compete with Fist of Fury and Flurry Strikes anymore. Crackling Jade Lightning is a lot lower than it used to be now, but I think that's just in comparison to these two. These two are just out. They're just so strong now. Oh, they nerfed Fouled Strike. Oh no, there it is. The Fouled Blood. Pretty strong weapon. It is a delve weapon though, but I could easily see this being a weapon that if you got this from a delve early on, you'd be using it for a while. I still think we're going 2-handers for I still think two-handers are going to be the take for AoE. I don't think the scaling's changed like that, but I could see one-handers being stronger for a single target. Like, because right now you can still like rock two-handers and probably still do more damage than two one-handers in single target. But I think one-handers might be a bit more efficient. I forget which one-handers. I don't think there's any really that good one-handers this tier. Because like the sims that I have seen have been using the of two-handers, the Capo's Molten Knuckles. I don't think we'll be using them next season. Yeah, I will do some conduit next. Well, yeah, we'll definitely do some conduit next. Like, I don't know. So, the other day when I played the like initial PTR, the what they called the one dungeon that came out, the new one, I was like a little bit disappointed with Shadowpan, but I pretty much said there and then I was like, okay, well this dungeon doesn't have a lot of trash packs, so I can't really like judge Shadowpan too much based on this. I need to like basically see it in dungeon with lots of trash. Well, I've done a couple of dungeons. I've done Tazavesh, which has a fucking ton of trash, and I've done Halls of Atonement, which has pretty decent trash as well, like throughout it. I don't know. I've never not once been bottom DPS. Obviously, I played with a Hunter most of the time, but beaten by Frost DK, Outlaw, Shaman. I mean, I haven't deleted any of my logs, have I? I usually do. I don't think I have. No, I haven't. It's like Tazavesh, right? You know, like, damage was still low. I didn't think I played this one too well, though, to be fair. Tazavesh again. I mean, this Frost DK died a lot, so I'd take this with a, like, grain of salt. He was absolutely stomping me before he died. And this was with Conduit, right? A little bit of a difference with Conduit. So you can see, like, when I played Conduit, I'm doing 6.21 million damage. Not too bad, right? And then I was doing Shadowpan, 4.79 million damage, but that was the bad one. This one, about the same, right? 5 million damage. It's hard to compare dungeons to each other, right? 'Cause like, you don't really want to like say, oh, well, I did this much damage in a Tazavesh and I did this much damage in a Hall, so I must be doing better on like this hero talent. But I don't know. I feel like Conduit just... I mean, we'll see now when I play Conduit in a sec. It plays better. What segment do I need it to be? Current? No, yeah, current segment. Although, in terms of Shadowpan, this is the build I like the most for M+. This 1 minute 30 build, I'll be really sad if this is the meta build for Season 2. I don't know. Not a massive fan of playing at 1 minute 30. It's like in Season 2, how we've now gone... Now, if you play Season 2 Shadowpan, like at the moment, you're probably playing the 2 minute Shadowpan build, and it just feels way better than the 1 minute 31. I feel like you have a lot more freedom to Storm, Earth, and Fire and stuff like that outside of big cooldowns. We're going to go for Bockless Cock, more filler Raid. Predominantly because it plays Whirling Dragon Punch and Revolving Whirl, which I think are really good filler abilities, and it means that Spinning Crane Kick can also do a ton of damage. The alternative build is... well, you have Bockless Cock with no filler, and that's where you go Dual Threat and transfer the power. This puts a lot more power into Fist of Fury, but it removes a lot of your excess filler abilities, so you basically get a lot less Dance of the... Well, you get a lot less, like... Well, you get no Whirling Dragon Punches, and you get no Spinning Crane Kicks, barely. You get, like, half the Spinning Crane Kicks you would have got previously, if that. And I think fill is so important outside of big cooldowns still, especially for, like, Weaving and Tiger Palms and stuff, so I'm very anti this build. I'm not a big fan of this one. And this is another single target Conduit build that has been, like, theory crafted as well, where you still Bok, but you don't Whirling Dragon Punch and you don't Revolving Whirl, and this makes the Bok not absolutely dog tier. But once again, I feel like this sort of build, it packs such a oomph during like your cooldowns, but outside of your cooldowns, I feel like you just have nothing like to fill this space with. I don't know if that's just getting used to it, where you need to like be okay with the downtime, because there's a lot more downtime here, or like holding Chi for like Fist of Fury and stuff like that, because Fist of Fury is your entire carry with this sort of build. But I don't know, I love the flow of having Whirling Dragon Punch and Revolving Whirl, just from Season 2 onwards, just like having that like constant flow of buttons to press, it just feels cleaner. But if the damage isn't there, the damage isn't there, right? But I find that I get the most damage out of this build is what I'm kind of milking right now in this sentence, in this like rant. I'm new to the game and I level 614, kind of hard to know what I should work on next. Is LFR worth doing? Yeah, for sure. LFR you definitely want to do. LFR is good content where you can get gear. You can see all the raid bosses and stuff, but it's also really good for getting gear initially. Delves, I'd probably say if you're 614, you want to try to do like your delves and stuff. If you try to get your delves to like level 8, that's the best like value for your buck with gear. There's also a lot of like catch-up systems at the moment. There's like events. Like there's one event in the Hallowfall zone that you can try out. That's pretty good. I forget what it's called, like something to do with the Sacred Flame. But I think that's a weekly one, and that's useful. There's also a delve mini event at the moment that you probably want to do. That's useful too. They've actually got some really good catch-up stuff, and then I'd probably like start looking at like just doing mythic dungeons, like mythic zeros and stuff, and then like moving on to like, you know, increasing your mythic plus level, and then normal raiding and so on, but like just gradually building it up and stuff. But definitely I'd say a good starting point would be like delves and LFR, and maybe like heroic dungeons if you want to try out some dungeons at that eye level. Delves do be fun. I'm on 9, I think. Yeah, delves are good, especially the are they called supercharged or something? I've really not been paying attention to retail recently. But there's like a big delve event at the moment where you get your like special delve belt, and the loot is a bit better as well. So delves are a good one to do as well if you just want some gear. Do you change stats between Shadow and Conduit? On live, kind of. On live, I will actually. This isn't my live gear, is it? On live, I basically have less haste on Conduit than this. I'll probably be sat around like this 18%. And I'll have a lot more verse on Conduit. I'll be sat on like the 13, 14%. I basically have 2 different rings. If you see these rings, this one's verse mastery, this one's haste mastery. So on live, I play with more mastery, more verse, more crit, a little bit less haste on Conduit. But for Shadow Pan, I play with more haste and more mastery than crit and verse at the moment. But so far, I'm finding that haste seems to be a bit better for Conduit right now, and a bit better for Shadow Pan, which it already was. So I'm running basically identical builds for Conduit and for Shadow Pan on the PTR. I'm basically running as much haste as I possibly can with the gear that I have. Mastery sat at about the same level that it was, and I've taken a bit away from verse and crit to try to get more into haste, because I think haste would be higher prio, just from like Conduit doesn't sound intuitive to have haste as a higher prio, but it just makes sense outside of your big cooldown windows with all the extra haste you're getting as well. You're just trying to get as much cooldown reduction as possible. The name of the game is just cooldown reduction and ability cast time and stuff like that. And that's exactly what haste does, as well as Heart of the Jade Serpent. So you're just playing them off of each other. I don't think we'll give up too much mastery for it, though. It'll definitely, I think it'll still be haste mastery tier, for sure. But got to see what the Sims say, just from like initial like testing and seeing what some theory crafters have said. Anyway, I'm just gonna be right back to 2 secs. I'm gonna grab a drink and then we'll go. Other dungeons? Tell me there are dungeons. Yeah, there are a bunch of dungeons, so we'll do another one. We'll do some Conduit for like an hour or so. So I'll just be a couple seconds. Well, that's a lie. I'll be a couple of minutes. What image do I want to put up? This one. that one. What does that say? Yeah. All right. I'll just be a couple secs. You can all look at this tier list and cry. All right. Be right back. Oh, wow. Man, this tier list is sad, eh? I don't even know who made it. Probably one of those tier lists, like, you know, some people make tier lists like every week. Classic. Let's try to get into a group. They all want tanks. I'm not a tank. I'm not doing a +2. We'll just wait. I'll just yap. While I wait. Do you go for uptime on the buff, or do you go for stacking the buffs? So they made a change so that you can't really stack the buffs anymore. I'll try to get into this 14. I know we've done a lot of Halls of Atonement today, but it seems to be the dungeon that everyone's going for. I don't think anyone wants to play the other ones. I wouldn't mind doing a Tazavesh Streets. But if I can get into a Halls of Atonement, I'll do it. I'll also sign up to this 10 because this 14, he ain't gonna invite me. Yeah, so they changed it where they no longer stack. So you don't really want to stack. Like previously, you could stack the buffs, which you wouldn't actually do anyway. It was always better outside of your big cooldown window to not. Declined. Savage. Brutal. Fuck you, Paladin. Bitch. Let me enter your 15, please. I'll do such good damage. Wait, no, that's a lie. I will ring a piece sometimes. Yeah? Remember when like my selling point used to be I'll do so much damage you won't even know. I can't even say that anymore. How do I sell myself? You like that 8% damage? You want 8% more physical damage in your mage comp? Oh shit. So like, let me try. Can I teleport to a dungeon? I can. I'll go Siege of Borealis because I'm gonna just kind of demonstrate what I mean by the stacking and stuff again. So like in your opener, you used to like before they made the changes to Conduit, the Slicing Winds one would stack with the Strike of the Windlord and with the Conduit Heart window. Like so, you basically get double the cooldown reduction. They removed that, which was expected. So that I'm not even bothered about that. I knew that was gonna happen. It was too strong basically. But it was also overcomplicated. I think there was way too much like cooldown reduction that I feel like people would get overloaded by it. If that makes sense. Like it was just too much like to think about at once that like your opener, I feel like you'd mess up your opener like 80% of the time just because like you had so much cooldown reduction. There was so much to think about and pre-planning it. So it's a little bit slower now, but that's fine. And let's say I popped on my cooldowns and I'm outside my cooldown window right now. So the idea is that you're going to be wanting to basically Strike of the Windlord for this buff. And then the moment you finish with this Heart of the Jade Serpent window, so I've finished it, now you're Slicing Winds. And that's basically how you're playing outside of it. And the idea is to get as many Fist of Furies off as possible, right? Rising Sun kicks up, press it so you can get the cooldown reduction. And then the moment Strike of the Windlord comes back up again, I'm pressing that. So press that. The idea is you're trying to keep the Heart of the Jade Serpent buff up as long as possible. So Slicing Winds is back up, send that. And that's how you're basically going to play outside of your opener. But inside of your opener, it's fine to send these all at once because you're going to get like, you basically have like such an extended cooldown, like length and time. What I mean by cooldown, that there's no point holding a Slicing Winds, right? You're basically Slicing Windsing to get the damage from Slicing Winds for the Gale Force. So in my mind, I'd be shocked if it's not something along these lines, but the opener is going to be something like, in AoE, I think it's going to be the exact same as it is on live right now, where you Tiger Palm, Zuin, Storm Earth and Fire, Strike of the Windlord. I like to Fist of Fury next, and the reason I like to Fist of Fury next, instead of Slicing Winds, is I want the cooldown of Fist of Fury to start instantly, and then I Slicing Winds, and then I Rising Sun Kick, and ideally you get Fist of Fury back up again so you can instantly send it. If you don't get Fist of Fury back up again, then I'll Whirling Dragon Punch into Conduit, into Fist of Fury, into Rising Sun Kick, into Strike of the Windlord, something along those lines. But the thing you need to consider is you usually only get one instance of having Strike of the Windlord and Slicing Winds overlapping each other. So the moment you send out your second Strike of the Windlord, you hold your Slicing Winds for this Heart Serpent window to finish, if that makes sense. So you get one burst where you send everything at once and have it all overlapping, because that's just how it plays out. But then the second you send out your second Strike of the Windlord, that's when I think you've stopped. You stopped overlapping them. And now you're playing the Slicing Winds cycle, if that makes sense. I'll try to play it out. So I Fist of Fury, Slicing Winds because I'm just doing it for damage. We got the proc, so now we Fist, Conduit. And I'm just going to Rising Sun Kick again because I want as many fists as possible. Rising Sun Kick again because I want as many fists as possible. And then Strike of the Windlord. And now I'm not going to send out Slicing Winds. I'm essentially now back on the cycle that we talked about. So now it finishes, and now I do that. And this is how I feel like it's going to play out, if that kind of makes sense. But in my mind... oh, double Tiger Palm. The idea is to get as many Fists of Fury out as possible. So if Rising Sun Kick is available, I will always press it to reduce the cooldown of Fists of Fury. So that's where all your damage is coming from. If that kind of makes sense. I'm not sure if you prioritize it over 2 stacks Spinning Crane Kick, but if I'm at 1 stack, I'm not pressing Spinning Crane Kick. There's just no time to do it. So now I'm at 2. Now I can kind of mess around with it. Because you see all the damages are Fist of Fury, right? So that's where you're trying to get everything from. So that kind of makes sense. So I feel like the opening's not going to change too much. It's just knowing that your second Strike of the Windlord is basically when you're starting your slower Heart of the Jade Serpent cycle. I don't really know how to like name these things yet. That's kind of how I see it playing out. Opener basically send everything, Fist of Fury prio, and then you start playing the strike window, slicing winds window, nothing for a little bit, strike window, slicing winds window, nothing for a little bit, strike window, slicing winds window, nothing for a little bit, send cooldowns when strikes back up, and you basically repeat the cycle. Whereas before, when they overlapped, it was absolute insanity. You'd Strike of the Windlord into Slicing Winds second, and then you'd Fist of Fury, and then you'd basically Rising Sun Kick, and then Strike of the Windlord would back up already again, so you'd have to send that out again. I think it was just a bit much. So, although it's like a damage loss, I actually think the playstyle of Conduit's actually better. I think it makes more sense. It's easier to learn, I think, as well. I bring 8% damage. I bring 8% damage. Please take me to your group. Oh, this is the paladin that rejected me. Maybe he's had a change of heart. You had a change of heart, buddy? You can let me in? We changed our minds? I bring 8% damage. Oh, it's so Jova. What is Fist of Fury's capped at? Fist of Fury hits... so Fist of Fury will always do its highest amount of damage to your prio target. So if this dummy's like the one I'm targeting, will always do the most of this. And then it will do a bit less damage to up to 4 other targets. And then past 5 targets, then it starts like falling off, like the damage falls off. But it will always do damage, right? So let's say you've got 20 targets in front of you. All of them are going to take damage. But like 25 of them are going to take a lot less damage than the rest, if that kind of makes sense. So it's not like Rogue where they have like a fixed 8 target right on their Blade Flurry. I'm pretty sure it's 8, right? They can hit 8 targets, and then anything past that they don't hit. We'll always do damage, but it just falls off. It's the same with Spinning Crane Kick. It's also, you know, soft capped at 5. Slicing Winds as well. Whirling Dragon Punch. Yes, I don't think it used to be though. Maybe I'm crazy. Why did we take it on Tindril? I feel like maybe it was just so good on Tindril. But yeah, basically 5 is the magic number where anything over 5 damage gets reduced. So our ideal amount of targets is usually 5. If we're like min-maxing our damage compared to like other specs, if we have 5 targets, that should be when we're doing our optimum amount of damage in comparison. Less targets isn't too bad either though. We're good at smaller target cleave. Like single target we're pretty good still. 2-3 targets we're also pretty good on. It's when you start ramping the numbers of like ads around you, that's when you just kind of fall off a little bit. And by a little bit I mean yeah. Yeah, a little bit. The Shadow Pan change is not good. I don't like the 150 energy for follow strikes. 120 was really nice. No, I completely agree. I think it is an awful change if they implement it. It's going to cause... like, it just makes things awkward. And it's already not doing crazy damage. If on top of that you're going to make it awkward, on top of the RNG of having to get shadow procs and whatnot, it's just like, I'd rather play Conduit. It's more consistent. I understand how it works. There's no real RNG to it, except for maybe getting, you know, your Rising Sun kick to reduce the cooldown of Fist of Fury. That's it. I feel like there's just, like... Plus, you're never, ever going to really be able to upkeep, like, the 20 stacks of Against All Odds, which is the entire point of the Shadowpan Burst window. I don't know. I don't know if they're just, like... If this is a mistake. It's not even covering the right one right now. I don't know if it's a mistake or they're considered implementing it and they're still looking. But hopefully they see enough data to show that if they change it to 150, you're not playing Shadowpan. You're just not playing Shadowpan. Because it'll just feel bad. It'll feel horrendous to play. Like trying to get three Tiger Palms in 5-second window is practically impossible. Like, you basically have to Tiger Palm, another ability, Tiger Palm, another ability, Tiger Palm, and that's guaranteeing that you have, like, you're not having energy issues. If you have energy issues for even 1 second, where you don't have enough to send out your Tiger Palm on cooldown, you're not proccing Flurry Strikes. And that happens a lot. Even at 120, that still happens here and there, if you don't have the perfect setup for it. I just think I think it's a silly change. I don't even care that they've reduced the damage of Flurry Strikes, or they've reduced the Flurry Strike's charge amount. Like that's fine. It's just the fact that they've changed the number to 150. It's such a weird number. Very weird number to change it to. Maybe they just didn't like how often you were Flurry Striking. Probably, but not the way to go about it. The energy feels bad for Brew as well, is it? Well, at least we're in the same boat. At least we're in the same boat. But at least with Brewmaster, you can double Tiger Palm, right? Oh, the guy just left. At least with Brewmaster, you can at least like Tiger Palm, right? Right. Oh, triple monk. They have to. You see another monk sign up, you invite them. Triple monk. The Gambit play. Oh, go on. It's unethical to not invite a monk to a double monk stack. Just give monk lust? Yeah. Although I don't even think that would, like, that wouldn't, like, we're at the stage where that wouldn't change anything. That wouldn't, like, get monk into the group, because you're already just going to take, You're already just, there's so many lust classes, right, that you have to take anyway. Even in, like, M+, maybe it would help a little bit, but even then. But I've always said, just give us lust and call it Serenity. Oh, look, it's back. He came back. Hey, buddy, can I join your group again? It's me. Surprise. So I think there's a world where Windwalker can go back to using one-handed weapons. I really miss sword mogs. I think, yeah, pure single target. I think there's a high likelihood. At the start of, like, any season, I think pure single target one-handers probably going to be good. Especially when, like, let's say you're raiding, right? Boss damage is going to be super important. Pad damage less important, arguably, right? In that case, one-handers are good. So, like, even though two-handers were better on bosses like Rick Reverb, I ran one-handers because you wanted boss damage, and if you, like, looked at, like, Race to World First guilds and stuff, they also ran a lot of one-handers, because all that matters is you get the boss's health to 0, right? You can pad here and there. In M+, though, I'd be very surprised. I'd be quite surprised. It'd have to have pretty good effects on them. Like, even if you take dual threat, it's still... yeah. Two-handers just scale too well, especially late, like, the further you get into seasons and stuff. They just, the stats on them, they just scale too well. Whereas one-handers are just better for, like, the actual melee damage and stuff. But yeah, I can see it on, like, bosses and stuff raiding at the start. One-handers being good, if there are good one-hander options, obviously. Trill play 2 one-handers for the whole tier. Yeah, like, exactly, right? He just wants to do, yeah, he's trying to get as much boss damage out as possible. Yeah, depends on, like, your comp and stuff. But yeah, for, like, Race to World First, I'd be surprised if, like, pretty much all their melee DPS didn't run like one-handers. If it gave them boss damage, they would have taken it. Just Petco. Petco Alpha. Nah, couldn't be. Petco, the shaman. Doubt. Personally, I don't want Lust. I want our AoE to not suck and higher keys, so 5 to 8 target cap. I just think we need more raw numbers, to be honest. Like, I don't even think, like... I mean, obviously, like, increasing the soft target cap to 8 probably helps, but... They could just... You just need number. You just need, like, a aura buff, right? Like, you could see, like, when they nerfed us by 4%, we dropped, like, a significant amount. Like, we dropped, like, at least 4 or 5 spots. And that's just raw damage numbers, right? I think the biggest issue with Windwalker that I find with scaling it for M+ and Raid is that if you look at your M+ talents and you look at your Raid talents, well, they are practically the same. Where a lot of specs have to, like, opt into full AoE, or they have to opt into full single target, or, like, we're very privileged, could I say, in the way that basically our AoE talents are pretty good for single target, and our single target talents are pretty good for AoE, right? We barely have to make any talent node changes, if that makes sense. But that's like a double-edged sword, where so you'll do good boss damage and you do decent AoE damage, but but if they like boost like AoE now, especially like the spinning crane kick changes and stuff, well, that boosts your single target. So you basically, you get what I'm trying to say, like, to buff one, they're technically buffing the other as well. It's why I like the spinning crane kick change, but I kind of saw this coming.
Yeah, what do you want?
It'll be fine, though. You see tomorrow when they bring out the patch notes. Oh my god, it's going to be so exciting, guys. I'm going to load up the stream on Wednesday morning. I'll be like, look at this, guys. Windwalker buffed by 5%. Oh my god. And they've reverted the Shadow Pan nerf. Oh my god, guys, we're eating good. That's going to be so sick, right? When I log in and they... Yeah? Right. I know for Paladin you have to use left tree for single target and right tree for AoE. Yeah, there's a lot of specs like that, right? Like, where, like, your class will basically have to fully invest into AoE or fully invest into single target, or they don't do enough of either. Whereas Windwalker does, like, a decent amount of both. So it's like a blessing and a curse. Like, I think, like, Boomies, I feel like my Boomie would always tell me, like, you basically, they do no damage on the boss, because the Mythic Plus, they had to spec fully into AoE. But they'd be like, their single target sucks. But their AoE would be amazing. I think a lot of specs are like that. Maybe I'm talking shit. I don't know anything other than Windwalker. Oh well. I thought early season weps are just, you just run wep, you get Myth Tracker first. I mean, yeah, of course. Like, you always want to use your highest eye level weapons. I mean, I was talking, like, generally, in terms of, like, single targets and AoE. Like, if I manage to get this weapon from my Delve, I will be running this over two-hander, because it's got a really good effect that does tons of damage on single target as well. Yeah, at the start of the tier, always, it's, like, eye level for weapons is always BIS, right? But usually, like, one-handers can be better, because you can always craft at least one-hander initially, right? You can't craft the two-hander. So that's why a lot of the time it was, like, people were being told to either hold off or stuff. But, like, if you were pushing, like, high-end raiding and stuff, people would instantly send on that one-hander. Even though overall for the tier, it was weaker to have the two one-handers, it made sense for what the content they were doing right then and there. So even though, like, they stuff themselves for later on, they don't care about later on, right? They care about downing the bosses here and now. So it really depends what sort of content you're doing. Like, if you're just a Mythic Plus player, you're more than likely just going to hold your craft right to get the two-hander. But if, like, you're pushing for, like, bosses to go down as fast as possible, it makes more sense, like Trillwood, to instantly send on the one-hander, get another one-hander, because it's easier to just get one-hander right and then craft the other one-hander at super high item level than it is to craft a two-hander or get lucky and get a two-hander, right?
5, 4,
It really depends on the situation.
2, 1.
I don't think I've done this one. This is the Veiled Market? Yeah, I haven't done... Why are there 10 bosses? Okay, no.
Surrender your weapons and follow me.
There's not 10 bosses, everybody chill.
Come to an
So I've not done this one before. Kind of cool. Thank you for the follow, ESU Monk. Appreciate it. Alright, I'm about to pop off. We're getting jiggy with it. Instantly a big pack. Oh my god, we got the double Fist of Fury instantly as well. Into triple Fist of Fury. Oh my god, into triple Fist of Fury. Into quad Fist of Fury. Into quad Fist of Fury. Into hextuple Fist of Fury. No. Wait, no, it'd be Pentanex, wouldn't it? But you see what I mean? Like, I give up on Whirling Dragon Punch and I give up on Spinning Crane Kick just to get the Fist of Furies out. They're just that much more valuable. So it feels weird to hold off on... Hello, let me Whirling Dragon Punch, please. But the moment Fist of Fury's up, you just want to send it. Oh, it just feels so much more cleaner than Shadowpan. Oh, I'm not having to think about my stupid stacks. I'm not having to... Oh, my God. And I'm doing... I was going to say decent damage. Can we pretend it's decent damage? Now, because we're doing such a big pull here, I'm actually going to hold my cooldowns for this. So I can get all of these in it. Like I would usually send, but actually I'm not going to send. Healer dead. GG. We're all dead. Well, I got most of my cooldowns off before I died. At least that, right? Unfortunately, the healer died. Oh, tank's dead now. Am I running to my death? I am running to my death. I'm just going to accept my fate. I'm just going to accept my fate. These white orbs, I didn't even notice. They're going to be a pain. Oh. Do you want to mash Fist of Fury like on live too? Essentially, yeah. Essentially, you're trying to get as many Fist of Furies off as possible is the idea. At all times. It's not just during your burst window. The idea is now, like, you're trying to Fist of Fury as much as possible. Like, if you look at the damage breakdown just from that, right? That doesn't really show it how I want it to. If you can see in the bottom left corner, you can see Fist of Fury is my main damage, followed by Slicing Winds, right? Spinning Crane Kick, I'm barely putting anything into at the moment. Spinning Crane Kick gets a lot more value outside of your big cooldowns, I'm finding, because that's when you're actually using it a lot more. The idea is to Fist of Fury as often as possible, because it's got such a short cooldown, because you're constantly getting hard at the Jade Serpent windows. But also it does a lot of damage, because of the talents that you're taking as well. And then you get a lot of cooldown as well with Zun's Battle Gear. Like, you can get even more damage from it if you get rid of Whirling Dragon Punch and Revolving Whirl and go dual threat transfer the power to get even more in your Fist of Fury. But the issue with that build, I find, is that it means outside of your big burst windows, I find that you, like, end up in these, like, kind of, like, lulls of, like, not being able to do anything, and that feels bad. So it's the trade-off of, like, your burst window feeling bad because you're not getting as many, like, you're basically expending, like, Whirling Dragon Punches and stuff to guarantee Fist of Fury. But as long as you're spamming Fist of Furies, I'm happy. Like, I could just watch my Spinning Crane Kick glow and drop off if I'm guaranteeing another Fist of Fury over it. It's just that strong. It's just that much value to constantly get this ability out. And that's how it feels anyway. I've tank left. He didn't like what he saw. Understandable. Oh, it's a survival. So you can't even run lightning anymore because of the tree routing? Yeah. I had to think about that the other day, actually. I was like, is there a world where you take lightning? But really, no. It's like, what do you drop? Like, you literally can't, right? You'd have to go energy burst into sequence strikes. Basically, lightning is not a conduit thing anymore, unless... I don't even know. There could potentially be a way in, like, the raid where you'd have to take it. But that would, like, be very cooked. Like, because there's some bosses where lightning's really good. like Araz, for instance. Lightning's really good on Forge Master Araz, and Lightning's really good on the other one, Soulbinder. But to run that, you either have to run Shadowpan, or you have to essentially completely cook a new build to get Lightning out this. Because it's basically trying to get 4 talents worth, and it's like, what do you drop? I don't even know, right? Because you have to take Slicing, like, you have to take this side of the tree. You're not dropping Zuin's Bond. Potentially you drop Rising Star. Well, no, you definitely drop Rising Star. Then you'd have to drop Fury. You'd have to drop Zuin's Battle Gear. And then you'd have to drop another talent. And at that point, it's just kind of like, yeesh. At that point, it's like, yeesh, because then you're like basically giving up Fist of Fury power. And it's the trade-off of what's going to be better, the Fist of Fury power or the Lightning. And that's a question for the Sims, right? That's something I cannot tell you. But as well as that, the fact that you're like constantly Fist of Furying as well, you get tons of value from Fury of Zuin, right? So you're constantly Fist of Furying, so you're more likely to get this to proc. Yeah, it fundamentally... Bro, this healer, dude. This healer's done this twice now. He's cucked me 2 times in a row. I can't list this group. I don't have the keystone for it. You little bitch. +2 learning. Let me in. These are pretty low level keys. I kind of didn't. Oh, I don't know why I'm signing up my group. Come with me, boys. Oh, that's a shame. I didn't really get to test out this dungeon. We'll see if we can get into any... I don't really want to do a 6. 6 doesn't really... Things will just die. I can't really get a good value or idea for things off of that. Might have to wait for a sec. Are we as strong... are we strong as this season? From how we are right now on the PTR, no, we are not as strong as we were on release of Season 2. Other specs are just doing what we do better, if that makes sense. Now, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to be when we finally leave the PTR, right? Copium hats on, everybody put your copium gas masks on, start huffing. There are still changes that are going to happen before the PTR cycle's over, yeah? Some specs are going to get nerfed, some are going to get buffed. Everything's not set in stone right now. But as it stands, like, let's say live hit tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, you're on live and you got to go raid. Oh, shit. Middle of the pack. Middle of the pack. But I think we're one of the stronger... Like, I said it a bit at the start of the stream. But from, like, the raid testing, I actually think we're on the stronger side of melee specs. A lot of melee specs in the raid actually look kind of weak. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. In M+, I think we're really behind at the moment. Like, shockingly behind. Because the specs that I'm, like, talking about that are relatively weak. Probably stronger than... Well, they're things like warriors and stuff, right? Warriors, demon hunters. Rogues are pretty equal from what I've seen testing-wise. Shamans are pretty equal. But then you go to M+, and Shamans smoke me, you know? Survival Hunter smoking me. Lol. Oh, no. But, like, stuff like that. So, in the... Like, both, I'd say, were pretty B. Like... Where's that image? Let me get the image up. Honestly... In, like, a pretty despair sort of way, just from my M+ testing, I would unironically move us to C. I hate tier lists. I'm never going to do a tier list, but I got sent this tier list, and I genuinely don't think we're B at the moment. For raid, I think we're B. I think we're B for raid, but, like, I don't know. I haven't played with a lot of these specs, but, like, look, you've got Outlaw in B right now, right? Outlaw fucking smoking me. I don't even, like, stand a chance with it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess tier lists is, like, a good way to, like, visualize stuff, but obviously tier lists are, like, meh. Mythic Plus with bottom tier, maybe Outside Warrior. Yeah, I genuinely think, like, cause that was a tier list just for M+ that someone made one stream or whatever. I don't even think we're B in comparison right now. Which might be a good thing, because it might mean we get buffed. Yes. Yes. Start huffing that copium. Ooh, that shit's good. Oh, help. Help. But if my raid leader asks, we're S+, by the way. If he asks, S+, we're fucking... Windwalker is absolutely cracked. Oh my god, our burst window. Woo-wee. That shit's good. But between us, yeah, don't... But if he asks, yeah, oh my god, we're so good right now. Hey, get me in the raid. I'm snorting lines of copium right now. I'm huffing. Oh no. Didn't we just get nerfed? Yeah, I suppose in a way, like a week and a half ago, it was kind of like, it's a weird one where they did nerf, is that Splaff? Hold on, I know this guy. From back in my days. I know Splaff. Anyway, sidetracked. Yeah, they changed Conduit, so the burst isn't as bursty anymore. Which is fine, in my opinion. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's like an ethical damage loss that was expected. But it means that I think the playstyle is actually easier to learn, actually get correctly, and not feel awful for failing, because it's actually relatively similar to last season. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the Conduit nerf, which sounds crazy, but I'll say it again, it was expected. It's not like this was an unexpected one. It's the Shadowpan one that's really worrying. It's the fact that Shadowpan looks like it's going to be so hard to actually do what you need to do damage. And if it's difficult to do what you need to do damage, and it's RNG focused as well, or like RNG related as well, why play that hero talent? You know, like if it's how it is now with the 120 energy, you can prep for it, you can set it up well, and you can keep the stacks up good. And the only RNG factor becomes Shadow Flurry strikes. And that sucks if you proc it late, it's good if you proc it early. However, if they change it to 150 energy, which is what they intend to do based on how they've changed the tier sets, it's not implemented yet on the PTR, that completely cocks up your burst windows. It makes it insanely hard, if impossible, to keep at your 20 stacks of against all odds, which you want to do during your burst windows. If that falls off, it sucks, right? You've lost 20% agility if that falls off, and... you need that. Weird, right? You need your 20% agility. Crazy stuff. But, like, suddenly that becomes insanely hard to manage and keep up and keep active as well. That it will practically be impossible to do 2 full Storm, Earth, and Fires after each other, keeping up. Unless you're in Lust. Maybe Lust can salvage it. Maybe we end up being 60% haste and that's how you negate it. But, like... I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, it feels a bit rough at the moment. Conduit definitely feels better. But even Conduit doesn't feel like it was last season, where your damage was absurd. At least in Raid, anyway. Where am I going with these guys? Halls of Atonement. Shit, I don't even make my way there. If the Blizzard dev asks, we're worse than Fury? I don't know how Fury is, to be honest, so I don't know. Are they bad? To be honest, though, it's probably a prot season, no? We're worse than Fury. Oh god, no. So, anyway, what specs should I re-roll to? I will have to change my entire brand. What are we thinking? Mage POV? Yeah, we like Mage POV. I mean, I've already got a Rogue POV. Death Knight POV. Oh, inbound. Evoker. Oh, Evoker POV. Orc Voker POV. I could be the new AJ Voker. That'd be cool, right?
Hey, how you doing?
They are in Halls of Atonement, right? Yeah.
Be careful out there.
Yeah, I could do Evoker. I absolutely hate Evokers and their playstyle, and I've never leveled one in my life, but I could probably do it. I also hate the dragon models. That's okay. I could make it work. Alright, so we're going to see how Warlock's doing, and we're going to see how Resto Druid's doing. I've heard Resto's going to be good next tier. I don't have a key for Halls. That's alright, buddy. And we've got an Enhanced Shaman. I already know Enhanced Shamans are pretty decent. No Hunters, though. No Hunters to scuff up the meters. Burst is good. After that, we don't talk about it. Well, it's not even that. Like for conduit, like our burst is good. And outside of that, like we're stronger compared to like season 2. We're obviously stronger, right? Because they've made it so that we have better sustain. But the issue is that other specs are just stronger. They're like they're just more powerful. They just do more damage. Their tier sets are arguably better, or maybe not even that, right? Because our tier set's insane. From what I read last, our tier set gives us 20. I want to say 23% damage for conduit. That's an insane tier set, right? Like when you like think about that, like what's our normal tier set? What do they give us? Like 7% at max. That's what we class as like a good tier set. 23%. You get 20 from wearing no tier set to wearing a 4 set for conduit. You've gained 23% damage. That's crazy. But it's just not enough. So like honestly, I just think it's a damage thing. It's like a raw damage thing that we just don't have enough right now. But it's okay. We have 8% Mystic Touch. That's kind of cool, right? Yeah. We make the other specs stronger. Bitcoin's ripping, dude. What do you mean by that? I don't. We crypto bros now? I don't think I've ever bought a Bitcoin in my life. Well, I say a Bitcoin, a fraction of a Bitcoin. I don't even understand crypto, I'll be honest. That shit goes way above my head. Saw another monk pumping in a 15 PTR key, but then that was before the conduit change. Yeah, I mean, I managed to test conduit out before in the first dungeon that came out, and I was like really positive about it. Like it felt good. Like I managed to get like a few tests on that as conduit. Obviously the like talent build wasn't quite there yet. I might have been doing the Bockless Cock. I might not quite have had it at that point. But the damage felt good and consistent. Shadowpan felt a little bit weaker. But it's your burst. Like the burst was just nuts, right? If you got it perfectly off and you were able to like keep the uptime of the stacks and stuff, if you're not putting 1 second Fists of Furies, like it was crazy. But it was like ludicrously crazy. Just give us like I don't know, 5% extra damage. Does that sound reasonable? That sounds reasonable to me, right? Like, okay, think about it this way. They nerfed us by 4% last season, which means we're technically 4% weaker than what we should be. So they need to negate that by buffing us by 4%. Does that make sense? Like, they took our damage, now give it back. Yeah? That's how it should work? Makes sense to me. Thank you for the follow, Dominakanin, and everybody else that's followed that I've not shouted out today. Really appreciate it. There's just been so many of you, and I've just been yapping and crying about Monk. Lol. He said it felt like Outlaw Rogue. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It doesn't quite feel like that. It doesn't feel like that as much anymore. But it still kind of does in that like you have barely any downtime across like your entire like play. Like the entire like pool, you barely have any
5,
downtime.
4,
Whereas before a little bit of downtime was alright. But yeah, during the burst window, absolutely. It was insanity. Yeah, like at times it felt like it was almost impossible to keep up. What's this guy saying? Wind? Oh, I don't even know. Ah, we're going the correct way this time. I like that. Oh.
I'm out of range.
Oh. Oh, it's going to be the craziest pull you've ever seen in your entire lives. Everybody. Oh, God. I should have used Fist of Fury there. I don't know why I didn't. Yo, I'm top of the meters. Guys, we are so back. Alright, guys. Everybody screenshot this. Post it in the dev's personal email address. Post this in your favorite Discords. Mine. Post this on Wowhead. Right now. You have to screenshot it right now before I drop. Windwalker is back.
Curse of obliteration.
In fact, I'd go as far as to say we're broken. I think we need a nerf. Uh-oh, that hurts. That hurts so fucking much. Hello? What is with these PTR tanks and their, like, infinite pulls? Please, PTR tanks. Have mercy. PTR tanks are actually such fucking madmen, dude. They... Oh man, absolute crackheads. But I'm top damage, by the way. So we're gonna take a screenshot of that, and that's going on the next YouTube video. Windwalker is blasted on the PTR, stomps on all of these other specs. Ah, it's just another day's at work. Deserves a nerf, probably. Yeah. Fist of Fury, my fists are furious. Guys, they're arguing in my PCR dungeon. It's okay though, the tank said he linked the route. That tank was like, not my problem, I linked the route, guys. You guys can't do it, I linked it. Huh? I'm... the Warlock's got a point, nobody's DBM works. My bigwig sometimes works. Sometimes it tells me that Murgle Lurgle's popping off. Don't know what that means, but it happens. Maybe I guarantee we're not taking it any slower. Don't even joke about that. Blizzard will nerf us. No, they won't.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They won't, I promise. They have all their data. They have all their internal data and stuff. I trust them. You don't trust Blizzard? Wait, what the heck? Yeah, alright, we're going again, so there's no point sending anything now. Ah! Uh-oh. Yo, the shaman's trying to ruin my thumbnail. Not on my watch, buddy. Yeah, so I think it's alright to send Fist of Fury out, even if you... I'm still trying to work out, like, the exact, like, amount of time. Like, you know how in, Season 2, right, you wouldn't send a Fist of Fury out if your Strike of the Windlord had, like, under 3 seconds or something? I think the rule probably still roughly applies, but I'm trying to, like, work out the exact amount of time. We're doing it again. Shit! I'm terrified. Oh, I'm so terrified right now. Loyal beasts to moi. I got this curse on me, but I'm in cooldown, so bad news, boys. You're just gonna have to take it. Oh, bad news, we did take it. Oh my god, I'm pumping! Screenshot it. Screenshot. Post that on the Twitters. The warlock logged off and the tank just left. Oh. This demo makes demo look balanced. Oh no. I can't laugh because I was doing this amount of damage like earlier on. This is how I feel. This is how I felt most of the day. Oh, genuinely. Oh. They gave us half a season of glory, yet let Mage be OP every season for 6 years. But you got to understand, Mage is the hero class. They got the blinks and they got the cool stuff, you know. Like they shoot out the frost and the fire and the arcane. Plus, they have to do all the mechanics. To be fair, like playing Devil's Advocate, how many mechanics did we have to do last year? Meanwhile, your mage is like your mage is having to do like everything in the raid. Oh. To be fair though, I'd take that trade. I'd take that trade deal. We're gonna make you the strongest spec, but you are gonna have to do everything in the raid. You take this deal, I take that deal every time. That Temo's making Timo under the radar. He's an agent. He's sandbagging. That's what I've been doing today. Actually, mentioning sandbagging. Yep, that's literally what I've been doing all day. So if you've watched this stream and you've been like, oh, Windwalker's looking pretty bad. Guys, I'm playing it poorly. I'm pressing Tiger Palm 2 times in a row on purpose, you know. I'm tanking my damage so that they buff us. I'm not trying to play as well as possible. Come on. Let's... yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, just from, like... I mean, I've done a fair bit of testing today. I mean, I've said it loads. I think Shadowpan is in a horrendous spot. And if they bring out these changes that they wanted to bring out, I think Shadowpan is probably dead. Conduit feels good. I just think the damage numbers aren't quite there. Like, Conduit feels like how it did, but it just feels better than it did last season. Like, just being able to actually do stuff outside of your big burst windows. Like, that was the one downside, right, in Season 2, where you'd do your burst, and you'd feel on top of the world, and then you would be outside of your burst, and you'd get to strike at the window, like, maybe once or twice if you were lucky, and it kind of felt a bit lackluster, and everything kind of was a bit slow. Like, Conduit feels so good now. I just think the damage numbers are not quite there. Let me put on an actual realistic... Oh, I don't have one. Alright, this is fake. Don't look at this. But I think Shadowpan, it just feels... I don't even know what the word for it is. Oh... It just feels like there's like a bunch of puzzle pieces that they've got for Shadowpan, and they kind of fit together right now. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to like change the puzzle. Like they've snipped off a few of those bits that insert, and they're trying to stick them together with the changes. And I don't think it's necessary because I don't think Shadowpan was that busted. Like, because it's still implemented. Shadowpan's still implemented how it is without the nerfs. So anything you've seen today for Shadowpan is how Shadowpan is pre-nerf. All my raid testing for Shadowpan, pre-nerf Shadowpan. I'm not topping the meters. I'm not carrying my raid. I'm not carrying my M+ group. I'm doing average / below average damage. Like, you got Shadowpan even more. Like, what are we doing? What are we trying to kill Windwalker? Oh. It all makes sense. They're bringing out a 3rd Demon Hunter spec. They want us to reroll. Oh my god, it makes sense now. They're trying to make Windwalker feel awful so that we will have to go and play another spec. But oh wait, what's coming out? Brand new Space Demon Hunter with its little void shit. Well, that's kind of cool, right? That's kind of interesting. And then we all go to that, and they've completed their job. Suddenly we're all playing that, and now Blizzard are like smiling, they're patting themselves on the back, and I'm gonna fall into the abyss. No, Slicing Winds. I did not judge that jump very well, I'll be honest. Sandbagging equals playing Shadowpan. True. I mean, like I can bring the Sims back up, but like Shadowpan actually didn't feel bad in the raid where it was good. Like my hopes for this season was that Windwalker was going to be like a 2-hero spec course, but like even more so, where some bosses you'd play Shadowpan, some bosses you'd play Conduit, and an M+ you could play both. And right now, they are. In Raid, some bosses felt awful with Conduit, but really good with Shadowpan, and some felt awful with Shadowpan, and some really good with Conduit, and it was do like 2-minute cooldowns, or the sort of AoE burst that we had, or the 1 minute 30 cooldowns. Like there was different varying reasons for why one felt better than the other. Which is cool. Like last year it was just Conduit, right? It's kind of cool to have like a variation in hero talents, mix it up a little bit. But M plus, but if they bring the nerfs to Shadowpan, I could see it just being another Conduit tier, and then I could see Conduit also being better in M plus because Shadowpan is just too tedious to pull off, and the reward is not even that rewarding, if that makes sense. Like the difficulties that actually get Shadowpan perfectly played right now seems kind of crazy for the reward that you get from it. Whereas Conduit, it's pretty similar to last season, if not almost identical. The damage is okay. Like, ignore damage for a minute. Like, or compare the damage to each other, like Windwalker internally, right? Not other specs. Like, Conduit damage, single target, much better than Shadowpan. But AoE, I think they're about the same. So why would I play the one that's RNG focused and also a little bit awkward to play and tedious and super punishing if you mess up your burst windows? Conduit, it's kind of hard to mess up your burst windows, right? Because all you're having to track is your Heart of the Jade Serpent. Whereas Shadowpan, what are you tracking? You're tracking your Flurry Strikes. You're tracking your Wisdom of the Wall. You're tracking your Against All Odds. And you've got to make sure all of these are perfectly at the right numbers at all times. And if one of them fucks up, GG. Okay, go next dungeon. You see what I'm trying to say? I feel like it's in a weird way. Right now, if I had to recommend to a brand new Windwalker what hero talent to play, if they wanted to do the better damage out of the two, I would honestly say Conduit, which feels really weird because I think trying to teach someone how to do the Shadowpan burst window is actually quite hard. Relatively difficult, especially with the 150 energy change. Like, there's gonna have to be so much setup. Whereas Conduit, if you can understand the Conduit burst window, then you understand how to play Conduit. You'll understand how the strike works, how slicing winds works outside of it. All you need to know is the burst. Whereas you need to, for Shadowpan, you need to understand how each of those three things work with each other. The add-ons, I'll even bring them up, right? Because I'm talking about them. Like, you need to understand how each of these three work with each other, how to perfectly set it up for certain packs. You also have to work with Crackling Jade Lightning as well, and how to get the maximum utilization of that. You know what I'm trying to say? Whereas before, with Season 2, or even Season 1, you didn't have to really worry too much about your Flurry Strikes like this. You didn't have to care about Against All Odds at all. All you really had to keep track of was when you Shadow procs. And if you Shadow procs at all, well, then you wanted to try get at least 1 or 2 extra Flurry Strike windows out of that. Whereas now, yo, you gotta be tracking the shit out of this. On top of that, you've also got to play the spec well. You know what I mean? Yeah, a little bit of a rant, but and I'm not really like a. I said it a few times. I don't really like. I try to look at the positives of Windwalker, like when I wasn't a massive fan of slicing winds to begin with, but I gave it a chance, you know, and now I really like slicing winds, or try to look at the positive sides of things. But it's just, yeah, Shadowpan's a rough one. Like for instance, I think that the Conduit nerf is good, right? Which is crazy, right? Do less damage, but I think that's a good change. But there's really nothing I can say for Shadowpan that I like that they're doing right now. If they change it to the 150 energy, if they keep it at 120, then it's okay. I actually am happy with how it plays, and I think it's fine. But if they nerf it to 150, I don't know. I just don't see people playing it, which is sad because it is like they've actually made it so Flurry Strikes does something now. But you know, saying that Shadowpan's the more straightforward hero specs, like how Brew feels when they press Dave. You have to juggle so much for one cooldown. I have no idea what Dave is, mate. What do you mean Brews feel when they press Dave? What's that? I don't know if that's like a mistype, but all I'm imagining now is like your Brewmaster's just he's chucking his kegs and then he presses his Dave button and he chucks Dave into the pack of ads. I don't know what Dave is. In Shadowpan for M+, it's harder. Everything needs to line up. If it doesn't, you're at the bottom by a lot. It does. If it does, you're at the bottom by only a medium amount. I mean, yeah, that's like, yeah, you said it perfectly there. Like, if it lines up perfectly, you get the perfect shadow, you've got the perfect setup and everything. It feels awful still. Like, you're still at the bottom, but at least you've done it correctly. But if you do it wrong, you are so far at the bottom, you're probably battling the tank. Whereas you can play Conduit right now, and you'll still be at the bottom. Don't get it twisted, guys. We'll be at the bottom no matter what. Right now, as PTR stands, you're at the bottom. but at least it feels like you're actually doing stuff, and it's like it's a lot harder to mess up, and it feels better. Like a lot of people always say that like, they prefer Conduit because it just feels like more engaging and stuff. And I feel like they tried to make Shadowpan more engaging, but the one like I'd love to understand why. Like I wish like you know how sometimes they put dev notes and stuff on certain changes and whatnot. I'd love to know why they've changed it to 150. But you know the funny part? They haven't even put it in the patch notes yet. So there's there can't be a dev note if it's not even acknowledged in the patch notes because it's not the change hasn't come in. It's just blue balling us. It's there. It's the threat. It's the threat of a change. They've got it there on purpose. I guarantee it. They're like, you fucking Windwalkers. You step out of line again. 150 energy. Don't you dare. Don't you dare step a foot out of line. Well, we will implement this change, and you will be fucking zucked. Oh, Dave's the Ox. Oh, why'd you call him Dave? That's one of those things that I'd love to know how that happened. We call our Ox Dave. I suppose the name's a little bit harder to pronounce. Like Zuen has like 10 different ways you can say it. Like I used to say Zuen, or I say Zwan. No, I used to say Zwan a lot, but then I was told it was Zuen, so I said Zuen a lot, and then someone said that's not how you say it. It's Zwan. And basically, there's two ways of saying it, right? But bit easier to say than how do you say it? Niju? Niju? Oh, I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, let's call him Dave. I like Dave because his name is Dave. Okay, we've touched a nerve with Dave. We've touched a nerve with Dave. Oh, okay. Dave it is. Dave it is. Nerf Windwalker. It's already happened, Novas. You can't nerf me any more than they already have. Impossible. I mean, they could actually. Please don't. You doing more keys? No, I am tangenting. I have to do some house hunting this afternoon. Ooh, exciting, right? Gonna go look at some homes. Ooh. I love being an adult. No, so I've got to head off. That's why I was gonna do that last key because it fell through. I kind of don't have enough time, so I'm gonna go adventure outside. I'm gonna go touch some grass, you know, go see other people's homes, see their nice houses they live in. Must be nice. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. Predominantly because tomorrow's patch day, right? For like the PTR and stuff, but it comes out so late for me that it's a bit awkward to do, so it makes more sense for me to do Wednesday morning. And I also think I'm not really doing much M+ anymore. Like I've had a talk with my team, but our schedules just kind of don't line up anymore. Which is kind of sad in a way, because I still like M+ on live servers and stuff, but for me to really have pushed for title, I had to play with the team, right? Like playing solo, like I might do like solo M+ here and there, but like in the back of my mind, I'll just be like, what am I doing this for? Like I can't really climb on my own. But it's not like a bad thing. I'm very happy with where I got to in M+ this season. Like I went from being a player that could only like get 10s and 12s in season 1 to, I think my peak was like, I want to say rank 21 Windwalker in the world for M+. So like I'm happy with how I did in M+ this season. Like really happy. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna have so much time for M+ next season because I'm not going to raid because I play Windwalker. I'm having an existential crisis. Oh god, it's Jova. Oh boy, I'm gonna be so good at M+ because it's all I'm gonna be able to do. But then I'm not gonna get invited to groups because I'm a Windwalker. Mage POV looking real hot right now. Yeah, literally, you are getting into Pug M+. We suck. Oh. Achievement. I'm gonna be. You see these achievements? I'm gonna be an achievement hunter streamer from now on. Wow, I've got so many of these achievements that I can get. That's gonna be my new premise. You guys want to watch me come get some achievements? Wow, we can. You want to see me explore the lands? Wow, that's gonna be so good. We can get Cataclysm and Explorer together. Wow, that's fun, right? No, I'm kidding around. But yeah, probably not too many M+ streams. So I think it's gonna be mostly PTR. I do need to like still do a couple of videos from the Mythic raiding testing and stuff, and maybe like an overall thing. And then in the back of my mind as well, I need to cook up the season 3 guide. It's gonna be a fucking doozy. It's gonna be 2 hours long of me just saying fucking buff my spec, you bitches. Something along those lines. So there's still a lot I'll do, but probably not, maybe not as much streaming, because it's just gonna be PTR stuff, and I'm not gonna like endlessly play PTR. Right? I'll play like the new dungeons maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but I'll be trying to like do some more YouTube videos and stuff before the new tier. Yeah, I guess I'm back now. So Wednesday, I'd be surprised if I come on tomorrow. I'll be honest. Wednesday, super likely. Wednesday afternoon, to test out the really cool. We're gonna right. They brought out this brand new dungeon. It's called Priory of the Sacred Flame, and we get to test it out exclusively on the PTR. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. They've also brought out this dungeon called Arakaris, City of Echoes. Now, it's this spider dungeon that's quite cool. It's only got 3 bosses, but you're going to be quite intrigued by it. And there's this really cool dungeon called Dawnbreaker, yeah? And in this dungeon, you actually travel around on a flying ship across the sky, and you fight bosses around this zone. I mean, fucking mind-blowing stuff, guys. There's also another one. I've forgotten what else they're bringing back. Probably some other shit dungeon that I fucking hate. Man, it's getting real in here. Oh, mount farming stream? I couldn't think of anything worse than a mount farming stream, but that's literally what I'm going to become. So I've got to come to terms with that. Oh, Floodgate. See, I actually don't mind Floodgate as a dungeon, but I don't want to do dungeons 2 seasons in a row. Does that make sense? Like, I wouldn't even care if they brought the entire Season 1 pool back. At least don't make me have to do Priory and Floodgate for 2 full seasons in a row. That's just crazy, right? Like, I prefer if they just brought old dungeons back from past, like, more old dungeons, or even crazier, create some new ones. You fucking lazy bitches. What are you doing? You're not buffing Windwalker. What are you doing? Just recycling What are they doing at Blizzard? Hearthstone. There must be. No, actually, I've heard Hearthstone's a fucking mess at the moment. What are they actually doing there? Buffing hunters and shit. Okay, no. Okay, this is full on turned into a complaint stream. I'm gonna close things up now before I start saying things that I can't take back. Both sides of Tazavesh. Yeah, no. There is the new one and stuff. I just mean more stuff like it just kind of sucks that they're bringing back like 2 dungeons from like the previous season. Like, I don't mind that Arakara and Dawnbreaker is back, because you've had a bit of a break, right? But to go, like, to do Priory for, like, an entire season, to then go do Priory for another entire season, it just feels like... But the players voted for it. They voted for it. And they voted for the most fun dungeons, right? They didn't vote for trinkets. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't have thought to themselves, which dungeon has the best trinket for me? No. They thought, which dungeon am I going to have the most fun re-clearing? They must have. There's no way that they thought about the trinkets, except that every single one of those dungeons has good trinkets. Alright, so TLDR the stream, Windwalker is in turmoil. I'm going to become an achievement hunter streamer. And if my raid leader asks, Windwalker is S tier. Cool. And I'll be back on Wednesday. Thanks for all hanging out. It's good to be back. Have a lovely evening and a good Tuesday. And we will mess around some more on the Wednesday. Thank you for following. Thank you for any subs. Thank you for just hanging out, chatting, chilling. And yeah, hopefully catch you on Wednesday. Goodbye, my dudes. I'm going to go find some houses.